Hello there, welcome back to Crafters TV. I hope you are having a very happy hump day. It is Wednesday. It's downhill to the weekend after this, it is. And this, of course, for the next few hours is going to be beautiful beginnings. We will have, though, an hour of creative expressions in the middle. Jamie Rogers will be back with us, sharing some more ideas and inspiration. So don't miss that. That's coming up in about an hour's time. But beautiful beginnings is, as the name would imply, beautiful, and it's all about the beginning of your crafting journey. So we're going to take things back to basics a little more over the next few hours. And who better to do that than Headmistress Jan? She's back with us. First time we've worked together in ages, Jan.
I know, it's sort of, my visits are far and few between at the moment. There's a lot going on, and I know people keep messaging saying, when are you back, when are you back? But yeah, we've got our baby's due in 2 weeks' time now, so things are getting very sort of hectic at home, making sure we've done all the jobs and everything. So fingers crossed that all
For anyone that doesn't know, not your baby, Jan.
Not my
it sounded
baby,
a bit like that there.
My grandbaby, yes. So grandbaby number 2. So yeah, is due in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's getting a little bit hectic now, but making sure bags are packed and buying nappies and yeah, everything's ready. So we're just waiting for his arrival now. So yes, I might disappear again a little bit towards the end of the month. But I will be back. I've got dates in November booked already, so...
Fabulous.
Yes, it's good to be back. So, yeah, I was going to just show you a little bit of what we've got going tonight.
Yes, please.
We both just said, actually, before we went live, that it's the first time that both of us done the new titled show.
It is.
Obviously, we've been here on a Wednesday before, but I love the fact that it's now being changed to Beautiful Beginnings. It's giving you a real heads up that if you're on your sort of beginning of your journey in crafting, this is the show for you. We're going to strip everything everything back. We're going to go into a bit more detail with the demos and keep them sort of relatively straightforward, focus on some techniques and things like that. So I've got 3 main sections tonight. One of these is a favourite, I must admit, and I'm going to dive straight into these first because we've actually got the Decoupage Flowers
these have been
on
so
the
popular,
show, and
Jan.
honestly they are beautiful. And again, you can do this from just being what I call a flat flower, so stamping it, cutting it out, placing it onto a project, or you can get these beautiful designs. I'm hazarding a guess that this one's actually, if you wet your card and then shape it, when it dries, it holds the shape, and I'm hazarding a guess that that's been done that way. So that's those carnations, absolutely gorgeous. And we've just used some stamens in the middle there. We've also got in that range, and these are so realistic, we've got the fuchsias in there as well. Just
That's
look at
beautiful,
those.
isn't it?
Absolutely gorgeous, and they are so simple to make. There is a stamp with a matching die to cut them out, and there's a little trick with these which I love and makes it so easy to line them up for cutting them out. So that's the fuchsia. We've also got the lovely lilac, absolutely gorgeous. Again, nice decent sized stamp, whether you want to colour it in with pens, with colouring pencils, with the aqua markers that Leanne was doing earlier, or I'm going to show you just simply stamping onto some pattern paper with one of the first demos. It doesn't have to be, you know, very complicated. And then we've got a demo later on with the lilies there.
My favourite flowers, the lily.
Love that one, absolutely gorgeous. And they're a really good size. So again, nice focal point on a card, on a tag, a gift tag, it could be on a gift box. So lots of different ways to use them. We've got the rose in there. So again, you've got that lovely little curled centre in the middle of that one to give it that look. Of the rose and the rose leaves. And then this is one that I've not seen in a lot of collections and really, really liked it. We've got that little sweet pea. And I just think that one is so cute. You can just see there how that again has been shaped. If I just tip the card, you can see the dimension on them. And they're really, really simple to do. So we're going to go through those later.
Amazing.
We're going to start with the ribbon threading dies. Now, if you were watching us earlier, we were on Wake Up Call. We actually demoed one of these, and I did go a bit rogue with it, Joe. You know what I'm like for chopping things up. But I'm going to bring it back to the basics tonight, and we're going to explain about the dies themselves, how you can thread them, and how you can make them into a, you know, relatively simple project. They are a creator card, so like that suggests, you don't need to do much more to it, but you can just see there we've got 2 different sets of ribbon in that one. We've got the darker one going diagonally, we've got the lighter one going straight across, just simply weaving in and out of the design. And there are lots of different designs. This one's been done so that the ribbon forms little crosses there. I like that. I like the pink and grey together. I think that's a nice combination. Again, in the blues, we've got a different pattern there. And again, this has had light blue going vertically, the dark blue going across horizontally. So many different ways to use them. In the pink there again. And then you'll like this one, Joe. How about that one?
Oh, I love that.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
A great way of using up sort of odds and ends of ribbons as well.
Yeah,
because a lot of the time you end up with a roll, you've got, you know, a couple of metres left. What on earth are you going to do with that?
You don't need a huge long length of them, no. So we're going to start off with those. And then we've also bought you a smaller bundle of that beautiful Hummingbird collection.
Nice.
Absolutely gorgeous. I think this was a Nature's Garden, if I remember rightly. And again, it's got that gorgeous tag in there.
Which is
and
such
this
a
is
handy
actually,
die,
you know,
isn't it?
just simply one cut in white, one cut in some of the cardstock that you can get to complement the pack, and then we've got vellum, and we've brought the vellum back for you tonight. So again, using the flowers are from the set, the sentiment from the set, but can you imagine that on top of a gift rather than just one of those little tiny tags that you buy in the stores? And then of course it wouldn't be a Hummingbird collection without the birdie himself there, would it? And then this gorgeous edge is from the set. You can see it again there on that one, used double. We've used it top and bottom with some acetate. Got the little birdie, and then there is another creator card in there which makes the topper, and again perfect for popping the shaker pieces behind there. So yeah, we've got lots of demos planned. I'm going to do a little bit, then we're going to bring Jamie back in, and then I'm going to do a bit more for you. So
Sounds delightful, Jan. It does. Lots of you are tuning in saying hi. I'll get to those in just a moment. Why don't we dive in and share with you some of the amazing deals then that we've got coming up for you over the next few hours here on Crafters TV. This one here is your Creator Card Starter Collection. You've got poker tools, tape pen, cards, and much, much more. The much more being a couple of ink pads, a blending tool, and your cardstock in there as well. Do grab that, £25, $32. This one here is your ribbon threading die collection. You've got 12 dies in here, which is excellent. Across the 6 different collections, $38.97 or $44.85. There are 2 smaller bundles available online, but the value is far and away better when you're going for the larger collection. And why wouldn't you? Because it's a half price deal when you get them like this. $31.18 or $35.88 as a Platinum member is a really fabulous price to be able to snap those up for. We've also got a stamp and die tool starter collection for you as well, so brilliant for all of your die cut. You've also got an ink pad in there and a stamping platform to help you with your stamping too. £20 or $31 is your price there on those. We also have that Hummingbird collection, not far off half price this one, so another great deal, £39 or $47 if you want to get your hands on that. Then we've got the Decoupage Flowers, and again, these are an awesome deal, considering these weren't launched all that long ago. £49 or $55 gets you all of those. And then we also have the Hero Tool. This is your die and stamp storage power pack with 36 elements. You get the box. You get 15 stamp pockets as well. What are those white things? I don't think you get any card blanks with this. That's what they look like to me. Yeah, I'm not sure what they are. I'm not sure what they're doing in there. Ignore those. $32.99 or $37.99, saving you 20%, which is awesome. Lots of you saying hi. Marsha's in from Essex. Catherine's in Sussex. Mary Rhino's in from Maine. Katie's here as well. We've also got Kate, and all the Katies are in this evening too. Any questions or comments you've got as we go through the show, you can get them into me. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are over on YouTube. But we're going to head back to Jan. Where are we going to start off then, Jan?
We're going to start with those ribbon threading dies, and we're going to go talk a little bit about the die and how it works. I'm going to pop it through the Gemini so we can see it cutting, and then we'll actually do a finished project to show you it going together. So I've got my Gemini plates at the ready. So in here you get 2 pieces to your die. So I pop those on here. If I take that external piece off, and just talk about this one first of all. Now, if you are brand new to your crafting, if this is the real sort of beginning of your journey and you've joined us tonight, first of all, welcome. We're a lovely little family here, so don't be afraid if you've got any questions to ask. Joe will relay them across. There's no such thing as a silly question. No, we're all on the same learning curve. I still ask things now, even now after all this time. So
Jan
for the
asks loads of silly questions.
Pardon?
Said Jan asks loads of silly questions all the time.
I do, yeah. I get silly answers usually as well. Especially from this crew, honestly. But yeah, just for the benefit of somebody that's not seen anything like this before, the metal work is the bit that does the detail, so the cutting. So all the design that you see on the packaging here for the inspiration, the pressure in the machines forces the metal work into the cardstock, and it actually cuts out the pattern. Now, they're not sharp. It's not actually a blade or a cutting edge or anything like that. It's just a raised area, and it's the phenomenal amount of pressure in the Gemini that just forces that gently through your cardstock, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, it comes in 2 parts. The first part has got all that gorgeous detail that's going to be the bit that we're going to do the ribbon threading, but there is nothing around the edge that will actually cut. This is just part of the metal here. There's no cutting edge on it. So if I pop that on my card on its own, it would cut that detail into however big your piece of card is. So the bit I've got here just happens to be about 4 by 6, I think, yeah, roughly. So it would literally cut that impression into the middle of it. Now, if you want it to stay the same size as the die there, we've given you that edge as a second piece. So that gives you the option to cut into something. So you might want to work on something that's a bit bigger and just have that detail either in the centre or in a corner, exactly up to.
Could you put multiples of one panel into one piece of
You could do a long one and have 3 side by side, you know, if you wanted to do a set of 4. This is the beauty of having them separate like that. But what we're going to do today is we're actually going to pop them together, and we're going to cut it out to make it into a topper, which is the sort of the main way that they've been used. So I always use some of our low-tack tape just to hold everything in place, because the pressure in the Gemini can sometimes move things as it goes through the rollers there. So as long as we get that die so that you can see all the way round it and that they're not overlapping anywhere. You should be able to run your pokey tool all the way around here and it not actually be touching. And then it is pretty much crucial with something like this to actually stick it down. So just with a little bit of low tack tape, because you want it to stay where it is. And then I'm going to take my Gemini cutting plates. I'm going to start with one of the clear cutting plates, and then I'm going to bring in my extra shims. So I have a plastic shim, I have my magnetic shim, and this is just to build up the right depth before we actually pop on top that last cutting plate. And that's going to give me exactly the right depth to allow the machine to do its job. Apply the pressure just enough to actually puncture the cardstock. So again, we're going to pass that through. Now, if you are in the market for the Geminis, check out the website. I've got the original Gemini here, which is the larger format, but these dies will fit through our next Gemini down, which is the Gemini Junior. And that is literally, the plates on that one are half the size of this one. So you can still see there's plenty of room there to get that die in there if that's the machine that you've got. So again, take that out. We can see on the back there that it's cut beautifully. So I'm going to take away the edge piece that we don't need. Okay, I'm just going to release this so you can see how easy it comes out. And what I really liked about this one, and you'll laugh, they were laughing at me earlier because they know me too well. But the waist section here, you've got these gorgeous little pieces in here that are like a little tiny flower.
Right.
And I popped these out here. Can you see them on the mat there?
Oh, yeah.
So these have come from this section here. And I thought, I can't waste those. So I sat and popped them all out and saved them before I cleaned my die out. And I'll show you what I've done with them. I've actually incorporated them into the card design. So again, this is the piece that we're looking for. And you can see now, if I bring it back on here so you can see a little bit better, we've got lots of different options now. And on your packaging, it gives you some ideas. Let's pop them that way so that you can see. If you look at the first suggestion here, we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4 to make a cross with your ribbons. And you can do that on the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. So you'll get 6 crosses along your design. It may be that you want to go straight with your ribbon. So if you want to go vertical, you could go straight through the holes all the way down, and you could do them in rows of 2. So 1 row here, 1 row here, and that's what we're going to do with this one. 1 row here and 1 row here. Awesome. Or alternatively, you can go across horizontally. So again, on your third picture, you can see that we've woven in and out of this one, in and out of this one, and we've gone across them all, the 6 sets all the way down. So that's just 3 ideas. You may come across more. You may find that there are more alternative ways of threading it. And it doesn't just have to be ribbon. We've called them ribbon threading dies. And for the first demo, I'm going to stick with the ribbon. But later on, in the second hour, I'm going to show you some of the other things that we can actually thread as well. So, taking a piece of ribbon, and it does work better with the narrower ribbons.
What would be the sort of widest you'd go up to, Jan?
Well, they do differ in design. So depending on which style you've got, I've noticed from using them at home this week with prepping that some of the openings are larger than others. So just be aware when you're sort of looking at your design, what kind of area you've got to thread your ribbon through. So I wouldn't try and fit like a, you know, 1/2 inch wide ribbon through these little holes. You're going to tear the cardstock. Some of them have got a wider element. I think the one that I did this morning was about a 3/4 inch ribbon. So just have a look and see what you're actually playing with. This one I think is, yeah, about 1/4 inch that I've got here, and this was some that I'd got in my stash. Now, to make this a little bit more durable, it depends what weight you've cut your die out of. This one's actually quite a thinner cardstock. So what I did, I'll bring the one in that I've started and I'll show you the rest of the design. I actually cut it again in the craft card, which is really robust, and stuck the 2 together before I started. So I've now got something that's actually quite substantial rather than just the 1 layer of cardstock. It's not necessary, but I just felt that it gave it a little bit more sort of rigidity there. And you can see where I've started weaving. I've come up for underneath and in again, underneath and in, underneath and in. And I've done the 2 rows on the left. we've got one row ready here, and I'm just going to bring this last piece of ribbon and do that last row together with you so you can see. So all I've done is come from underneath my card, and then I'm going to take it back from the top, and it literally is just a case of weaving it in and out.
Brilliant. A lot of people still tuning in saying hi, Jan, this evening. Stephanie says, good afternoon, Jan, Joe, CTV, and crafters everywhere from Farmingdale, New Jersey. The rain stopped, it's cooler, 50s and dreary, but we're going to brighten her day apparently, Jan.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, Melanie D says, so excited for you, Jan, and you'll wait for your new grandbaby.
Oh, I know.
Who else have got? Carol Guy said, made some of the fuchsias and love your card, Jan. Beautiful inspiration. Jeffrey says, good evening, Jan and Joe and all the great CTV crew and all the folks with us this evening. Clarice is in South Carolina, and also Mary Pat is in Montana, so hi to all of you.
So I'm just going to pop that on there now. You can see I've literally done the same format. So we've come up from underneath. It's a little bit like stitching. Back down the top, up from underneath, down the top, up from underneath, down the top again in those 3 sections. And then you need to secure your ribbon. All right, so all I did was take a little bit of my red line tape. You could use a little bit of wet glue under there if you want. I just wanted mine to stick reasonably quickly. So I've got a little bit of red line tape. I've just used the very narrow one. And I'm going to stick it because I hadn't sealed the one that I did at home there. I'm going to go all the way across both pieces there and just get those stuck in place, and the same at the other end, just so that I know that they're nice and secure and they're not going to come apart when people are handling the card there. And then once they're in place, I'm just going to take the excess off the ribbon so that it's not sticking out at the end. And then what I did is I've just used some little gems from my stash, and on these little flowers that we said popped out earlier, I've just popped a few gems on the ones that were still showing there. I don't know where that one's gone. Oh, I do know why that one's missing. It's all right. I prepped these a few days ago and it's like, I do know why it's missing. So keeping it nice and
we're
simple.
Intrigued now. It sounds like some sort of
Today.
salacious scandal is the reason why it's missing.
So all I've done is taken my craft card and I've made myself a 5 by 6.5. So it's not a regular size, but it would fit in a 5 by 7 envelope, which is more of a standard size of card blank. I've just kept it as a normal opening card, and I've done my first layer in some of that lovely ivory shimmery glitter card there, non-shed glitter card, just to give a little bit of glitz. My next layer I've cut slightly smaller, and we're going to pop that one on here, and I've put some tape just to add a little bit of dimension to it. Got a little bit of foam tape there on the back of it, and this will stick nicely. But because we're sticking onto glitter card, I'm just going to take some of my wet glue. This is my tacky glue that I've actually decanted into the small applicator. So our tacky glue is actually a white PVA based glue that dries clear, and it's brilliant for sticking anything that's sort of out of the ordinary, that doesn't fall into the cardstock category. So the fact that we're going on to glitter card,
Like the sole on your shoes.
Yes, it will soak into that glitter and that layer on the surface, and it will give you a nice good bond. Now, somebody asked the other day, I saw on social media somebody ask a really good question, Joe, and they said that they'd seen us do this many, many times, where we add that little bit of glue, but we never put it underneath when we stick the tape down. So when we actually pop the tape onto the card, we don't use the glue. And I thought that actually is a really good point. The reason being is it's going straight on the cardstock, and it's plain on the back. So it's not got to deal with anything slightly different. So it may be that, you know, that you've got, and I mean the fact that this comes on a roll, so it's got a cover tape on it, a liner tape on it. But if you've got any dust or anything like that, the glue just helps with that extra adhesion there. So we're going to pop that one, and I've just left I've left a 1/2 inch altogether, so we've got a 1/4 inch border all the way round. And then I've cut these just the right size that we're going to fit this one on top like so. So all I want to do now then is run a little bit more of that double-sided tape, and I use the red line tape for anything that's had a little bit of extra work done on it. So because we've got the ribbon on here, I know that I'm going to get a really good sort of adhesion, and it's going to secure it, and it's not going to risk falling off. If you want to use your wet glue, again, you can use that tacky glue. It's sort of the equivalent of the tape in a wet glue. When I know some people prefer to use that, I'm actually a big lover of my red line tape. So I'm just going to put those 2 strips, one down either side. I'm not too worried about the rest of it. Take the liner off to reveal that double-sided tape. Okay, and then I want to make sure that the bit where the glitz and glamour bit was sitting is at the bottom. Okay, got a little bit of that ribbon there that's frayed. There we go. And then I'm just going to centre that. I've kept that one flat. Centre that, so you've now got that dark brown cardstock showing through the rest of the design. And here we go, Joe. The reason I'd not bothered sticking one there is because I simply want to pop my sentiment, and it was going to get covered up anyway, so why did I need to put a sticky under there, you see? So that, it was as simple, it was no trickery, just as simple as that. So again, I've just gone through my sentiments. You know, we've all got sort of a stamp set that we can go to, and I've just got that one to pop across the bottom there. And then I said I'd told you what I was going to do. Couldn't waste all those little bits. So what I've done is I've used some of the scraps from the card itself. I've got a layer of the craft card, I've got a layer of the cream that I cut the main panel in, I've got a strip of the glitter card that was left over, and I've just alternated, because I said I'd cut it twice. Do you remember I said I'd reinforced it with craft card on the back? I had a set of cream flowers and a set of craft coloured ones, so I've literally just alternated them, and this one is going to go just on the inside there, just to add a little bit of detail on the inside of the card. So don't be afraid to extend that decoration into the inside of your card, just, you know, to link it together. Use up any spare pieces and just bring that design. So we've got the little bit there with all the little flowers on that links with the details on there. So if I just move those out of the way and stand you that one up, nice and straightforward, just showing those ribbon threading dies off at the best there with that contrast with the turquoise ribbon.
Yeah, and never been a better price to get hold of these as well, Jan, because they're on a half price deal at the moment. I've never seen them lower than this. Let me take you through the details that you've got, the designs that you've got, I should say. This is Pretty Florals, your first one just there. And again, as Jan said, you know, depending on the different ways you want to thread these up, I think you'll get a very different look and feel, and of course playing around with colours and textures, whether that's with the cardstock or with the lace that you, or with the ribbons that you're using. That one there is charming lace that you can see. Then you've got the Baroque swirls, and you know what I say, Jan? If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it.
Oh, dearie me. They don't get any better, Joe.
Ah, Charlotte's so angry at that joke. I don't know why. Don't know why my light-hearted humour always makes Charlotte so angry. It's so mean. I'm not quite sure why. Bold Florals is what we've got then. We've then got diagonal lace, which is that one just there, and elaborate lace is the other one that you've got. You would be looking at $77.94, or the best part of $90 to get these individually. However, today, $38.97, $44.85, everyone able to use their Club Inspired discount as well. Under £32 or $36 for platinum members is an amazing deal on that one. Right, Hero Tool. Someone else I haven't worked with for ages is Tiffany, Totally Tiffany. I know she's back later this month. I've seen her show on the schedule, so not too long to wait. This is brilliant because it is the Die and Stamp Storage Power Pack Collection with 36 elements. So what you're going to get is the actual folder itself, which is brilliant for like your 5x7 inch cards. But then what you're going to get is you're going to get the wallets included. Now, is it 45? You get 15 of the wallets, and then you also get some of the magnetic panels as well. So the magnetic panels, 15 of those, are brilliant for storing your dies on there. So you can store those in here. You can store stamps in here beautifully, of course, if you want to as well. It's also great for storing finish makes, packaging as well. If you're storing things in their packaging, you can also pop that in there. It's just a really handy little device to have to store a whole host of different items in. $32.99 or $37.99 gets you all of that. So you're getting the wallets, you're getting the magnetic sheet, and you're getting the box itself too. So don't miss out on that. It's our Hero Tool. And next up, we're going to have a little look at this. These are brilliant. You guys have loved these. What I love about them is the size of them. They make really big bold floral project. So if you just want to make one flower and fill a project, you could absolutely do that with this. And there's some, I like that we've got a mix of sort of favourite flowers and then also a couple that are a bit more unusual too. That's the lily that you've got there. You're getting the stamps and the dies included. That is also upside down. There you are. That next one up. What's going on here then? Hang on. That one is your lovely lilac that you can see just there. And definitely I think you could use that for other stuff. This one is, this one would be great as hops maybe, is what I was thinking. Could use this as hops maybe? No? Just me? Okay, fair enough. The next one we've got here is a radiant rose. Radiant rose? Anyone? Yeah, it's a radiant, yeah, brilliant, brilliant. I thought Charlotte had fallen asleep there for a moment. Fabulous fuchsia is this one just here. The fuchsia's bright, the fuchsia's fabulous. The
fuchsia's upside down.
Sorry?
The fuchsia's upside down.
No, it's not, apparently not. Look, it's the right way up.
Oh, fuchsias grow down, not up in the air. That's better.
What? It's not my handwriting, so it definitely wasn't me. Then we have also got this one just here, which is the Timeless Carnation. And then you've got the Fragrant Sweet Pea as well, which is that one just there. £49 or $55, saving you $40.94 or $46.70. That was difficult, wasn't it? Right, should we go back to Jan?
Right. Honestly, if you could hear what goes off in our ears, honestly, they're shocking.
Charlotte described me as hard to watch, which I thought was very rude. And painful. Oh, she said painful, sorry, not hard to watch.
So we're actually going to have a look at that delicate lily, and like Joe said, they are a really nice size, these, so you've got a focal point for a card. We quite often use flowers as sort of embellishments, as accessories. They're just that little bit of something to finish a card off. These are totally different in the fact when you look at the size of the flower itself, it's going to make something quite substantial. So that can actually be, whether it's on a card, whether it's on a scrapbook page, whether it's on a box or a tag, it's going to be that sort of eye catcher. So the lily, we've got the 3-part to it, and then we're going to stamp it twice. Now what I wanted to do tonight is, again, those people that are starting their journey, the colouring aspect can sometimes be a little bit daunting, and especially with something that's got quite a big area like this one has. So what I thought was a little cheats way around that. If you're not so hot on colouring, or if it's not your kind of thing, you can stamp onto any of your pattern papers. So most of the papers in a design, now this one happened to be from the Beautiful collection, but most of them, if they're a double-sided, have a more plain design on the reverse of it. So again, just taking that lovely yellow there, you can imagine when we take that stamp off there, stamping this out onto the cardstock, onto the paper there, and using that as your colour. And that's exactly what I've done, but I used some pink card that I'd got at home. Now I've actually stamped it out, so I've taken my piece here and just stamped it with some, and again, because I'm not adding any colouring medium to it, it doesn't really matter which stamp pad you're going to use, which ink you're going to use. If you want to colour in, then obviously be aware of whether you're going to use a alcohol colouring medium or whether you're going to use a watercolour medium. And we just need to make sure that we've got the right stamping ink so that when we start colouring, it doesn't interfere with the line art. So if you're using watercolour, you want waterproof with the water brush. If you're using alcohol markers, you want alcohol proof with the alcohol pen. Nice and simple if you're using our finesse stamping ink. So I've used the brown on this one. It wasn't quite as harsh again because we're going with those pinky tones. I've stamped out my lily ready just to try and speed it up a little bit because we've got a lot that I want to fit in for you tonight. Where's my stamp gone? There we go. And I've also stamped out onto some scraps of green one of the leaves. So we've got that lovely, typically long leaf that you get with the lily. And I've stamped out the little centre part. Now I didn't go for the bit with the stamens on. You can add this in as well if you wish. I just sort of left it here. So all I've done is I've stamped those out at the ready, and then we're going to cut these out. So with the dies, you get the matching dies, and these fit perfectly. And the little trick with these that I really like, quite often when we're looking for that cutting edge on the die and we're trying to line them up, some people have often said that they can never get them straight. Now, I don't know why with this one. I assume it's because flowers don't have that definite outline. But what we've actually done with this is we've made the dies just a smidge smaller, so you can actually see the line art still showing round the edge of the die. So you know that you're in the right place. There's no fear of not cutting it right. And it takes away that harsh edge when we actually come to make the flowers. So I'm going to stick that one down. I'm going to take my leaf there, and I'm going to do these all at the same time. So this one's, and these are the same. It's just slightly smaller than the stamp itself, which is unusual because normally the die would overlap the stamp and then you're thinking, have I got it in the right place? But I love the fact that you can just see the line art around it. You know for certain that it's there in the right place. And then we want that little piece in the middle on there. And I think, again, we just need to get the right, there we go. And again, it just sits inside that stamped area so that we know we've got it in the right place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring my Gemini MIDI in there because we don't need a lot of space for these. These are both going to fit inside my folder there. We can cut them both at the same time.
And I guess if you want to with this, you can make them, you know, true to nature, or you could actually make them quite abstract if you wanted to. You could really play around with them, maybe even put some of the different ones together if you wanted to.
Can you just imagine some black lilies?
Yeah.
With gold stamens.
Can you get black lilies?
I don't know. I think they can do pretty much anything now with flowers because you draw the ink up through the stems. Works really well with carnations.
Right.
If you put them in water that's got food colouring in,
yeah,
the stem drinks it up.
Does it? And they go
and
they
it
go
changes
colour.
the petals, yeah. I used to do it in school with the kids with science experiments. And yeah, especially if you can get white carnations and literally just cut the bottom off the stem, pop them in just a normal vase, but in the water just pop a couple of drops of food colour. So for example, if you pop blue food colouring in, the sort of capillary action in the flower, I'm going all science on you now, so it draws it up and it comes out through the petals. That's and amazing. Your white petals will turn the colour of the food colour. It's amazing. It's a really nice one to do with the kiddies. Yeah, try it. Just try it. You don't need to go overboard with the colouring. But yeah, it is a really good one. As I say, the kids are fascinated with it. It's like, how did that happen? So again, I'm just going to take the dies off and we've got all our little pieces then to play with. So we've got the waist there and you can see how it's left. If you look at my pieces here, you can see how it's left the line art on the actual cardstock that I've cut out from. So this is the waist and I've now got a piece that is beautiful, but you've not got that harsh line around the outside. So what I did with this then was just treat it to a little bit of ink, and I've got some pink tulip ink there. And this can be any of the inks for this benefit because I'm literally just going to take it around the edge there just to sort of finish it off and give it that little bit of a darker border. And then we're going to do a little bit of shaping with it. Now again, depending on where you're at on your journey, your flower will look just as nice if you go at this point and pop. I've done one already. So if we pop these together and then pop your little piece in the middle, and pop your leaf behind, and you've got something there that is very, very usable. It still looks realistic. It's still easy because you've not had to do all the colouring. But just by adding a bit of shaping to it, and I'm just going to bring my green ink as well. I've got some green and I want my matte
Anne's done that with Daisy, she says, as well, with the food colouring. It works for those also. Yep.
So again, I'm just going to go around the edge of the petals with some green ink as well, and this one. It just sort of Any of you guys that know me know that I love my inks and things are not finished if they don't have a little bit of ink round, but that's just me. It's not a necessary step, it's just how I like to work. And then what I've got here is a piece of foam. So it's quite dense foam, but you can feel the give in it. And I like to work on this with my flower shaping tools. And again, this is taking it to that next step. So if you wanted to just pop it together and keep, like I said, that flat flower, this could be a starting point. Okay, but if we start and bring in the shaping tools here, and these are what we brought out when we brought out our flower forming foam, they work just as nicely with the flowers. So I'm actually going to turn them over because very few flowers are completely flat like that. So to bring them a bit more to life, I'm just going to use the larger end of my ball tool and just press into the back of the flower there on each petal. And what it's doing, because there's a little bit of give in the foam, it's allowing me to shape it. And I'll show you this one compared to the other one that's still flat.
I had some lilies at home that I left when I came to work, Jan, and they were well and truly past their best when I left. And I thought, you need to put those in the bin before you go, or those stamens are going to be everywhere when you get home. And I haven't. Yeah, so I know I'm going to go home tonight and the stamens are just going to be everywhere.
Yeah. But if you look now, you can see that there is a little bit of shaping in this one now, as opposed to it being just totally flat. So it just makes them look a little bit more realistic. So again, I'm going to do exactly the same on this one. So I'm just applying pressure. And it almost sort of wrinkles the edge of the petals as well, which makes them look quite authentic, because again, you know, flowers are not perfect in nature. You don't see them where every single petal's fine. Again, you know, if you happen to damage this and lose one of the petals while you're working on it, don't worry. You can still stick it back together. And then I'm going to do just the little one here. I'm going to use the smaller end of my tool and just press in the centre of that one to sort of make it more like a little cup there rather than being flat. And then again, I'm going to do the back of the leaf on that side. And then I'm also going to do a little bit on this end because I want to just curl up the edge of it there as well.
Awesome.
So we've got them ready to use. So I'm going to bring in that same tacky glue that we used on the other card earlier. So again, from the bottle, decanted. The reason I like it in here is because this has got such a fine tip that you get a little bit more control. So what I'm going to do is pop a little bit in the centre of that bottom section and then offset them. So where you've got the 3 gaps, we're going to go for that with the other set of petals there. And then bring in that tool again and just give it a good press. The glue does grab quite quickly. And then we're going to do the same again with that little piece for the centre. And again, we're going to pop that one and just offset it slightly again so that they're on the opposite petals. Press it down, and then instead of stamens for this one, I've just put a little bit of sparkle in the centre of them. So, you know, they don't have to have the stamens in if you don't want to. So all I've done is just take some little sparkly bits from my stash, and I'm going to drop that right in the centre there. So you can just see we've got that lovely sort of shaping going on. And if I bring in the one that I did at home, I've got its partner there. I've not quite got that as offset as I would like. There we go. You can see we've got the 2 there, and we've got a set of the leaves at the ready. Okay. That's because
brilliant. Very busy on these, Jan, as I thought they would be.
Yeah.
£40.94 or £46.70 is what you say on these. Everyone able to use that Club Inspired discount as well, so don't forget that. Also remember, in about 20 minutes time, Jamie will be here from Creative Expressions for another hour. And then we've got a second instalment, haven't we, Jan? The hour after
part
that,
2.
we're back together.
Part 2.
Yes.
Later on. So this was the bit that I wanted to demonstrate for you. So I've actually put my card blank together, and I've gone very, very simple with it. I've used some of our multi-purpose cardstock to make the card, which is about 5.5 by 7.5. My favourite gold matte card, which comes in our luxury card packs. And then this is white Centura pearl that I've just popped through an embossing folder. So anything that you've got, I just wanted the script behind it, anything that you might have got lying around, just popped it through, and then I've used that same pink tulip ink. The ink goes over the Centura pearl beautifully, and it's just changed the colour tone altogether there. And just literally with my applicator, all over the cardstock to add that pink ink. And then my sentiment, I've popped on a little bit of vellum. I didn't want it to be too sort of definite. I've just got it on vellum there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use these gorgeous flowers to actually create some detail on that card. So we're going to put the two, and then we've got our leaves. Pardon?
They're big, really big and bold.
They are lovely, yeah, they really are. So again, depending on where you want to sit them, and I've just put my hot glue gun on for the, oh, she said.
Oh, it's like your imaginary heat tool.
I haven't propped the glue gun on, I planned to, and now I haven't, so we'll use some of the tacky glue.
Okie doke.
With something that big, I would normally use the glue gun to just attach. But the tacky glue will work, it just doesn't set quite as quickly. I like the hot glue because it sort of sets and sticks quite quickly. So again, I'm just going to curve that one around the sentiment and hold it in place for a second. And then we're going to do the same. And all I've done is put glue on the back of the centre there of the flower.
And those, are they the swash stamps there that the sentiment's from?
Yes,
oh,
well spotted. One of my favourite sets of sentiments we've ever done.
We launched those, yeah, tiny little sets of
stamps.
Really
they
cool.
were lovely.
Do you know where the embossing folder is from, Jan?
The embossing folder is from a Sarah
stuff?
Signature collection, and it was called Letters from the Heart.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so it's called Traditional Script. I usually write on the back of them so that I can, I know what they are. But I just wanted something. I have all mine filed in themes, so I knew I wanted a script one. So I just went to the section on script and just pulled that one out for the background there. So again, this one's going to go a little bit further over, and I'm going to put the flowers on first, and then we can just slot the leaves behind. So again, we've got 3 leaves, so we'll go with one up at the top, one at the bottom, and I don't know whether it needs the third one, to be honest. I think we might just use the 2, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue again under that back. I don't need to put the whole thing. I don't want it to lie flat. I want it to keep its shape that we've created. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. Just create that end where it's flat, a little bit of glue on there. And as I say, the hot glue just allows you to make, I know that once it's on, it's set.
Kim says, I really like how the flower looks, no white edges at all.
Yeah, it does. And that's what that dye does, because it cuts away the edge there. It just makes it look, I think, realistic. So again, clear all the debris, turn you that one round, and you can see how they make that beautiful focal point there for the card.
Really
and
lovely.
Again, I think if I was gifting this to someone, I'd probably make a little box to pop it in. I've slightly gone off the edge with the, oops, my leaf's decided to fall down there.
Oh dear.
But again, you know, sort of be aware of the placement if you're wanting to fit it in an envelope. But as I say, with something like that, that's got that sort of dimension to it, I think I'd be popping it in a nice little gift box or a gift bag.
Brilliant.
To pass to the recipient.
Let me take you back through then. That's the designs that you're getting. 6 different flowers that you've got in here. Use them singly, use them clustered together as well. You've got the lily, the lilac, which is that one there, the radiant rose. We've also got the fabulous fuchsia, which was upside down, Jan. I did consult Google and you were correct. The timeless carnation there.
Didn't believe me, even though I have them growing in my garden.
Sweet pea as well. £49 or $55, saving you £40 or $46. So it is a brilliant, brilliant deal on that. Karen says hi from Southern California. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Jenny says I've got that embossing folder and I absolutely love it. Any questions you've got, then get them into me. And also it is beautiful beginning, so it really can go as far back to basics as you need it to, really, with the questions. If there's anything you're stuck on whatsoever, fire it over. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are over on YouTube. We are going to go and have a little look at the Hummingbird collection, what we have left of it, I should say. There is a couple of extra items as well that are not in the bundle, which are over on the website. The vellums being one of them. So if you want to snap the vellums up, they are really low stock. Head over to the website if you want to get those. This one here is your tropical tags. These are brilliant for so many things. I know Jan's going to show us something on these in just a moment. You've also got the textured lace in here, which is that gorgeous edgeable. That one there is your hovering hummingbird. Love this because you can really agitate those wings, get lots of texture there with those. This is your fragrant floral, some really cool embellishing stamps and dies. They would be great across lots of different projects. You will also get the Spread Your Wings, which is your sentiments in there, all created specifically for this collection. And then you've also got your luxury cardstock as well, which is a linen effect in this one. You get 24 sheets within there, which is brilliant. Now, I don't know if we've got time to start and finish this demo, Jan, have we? We'll see how we get on and
well,
maybe finish it later.
What I'd do is get started on it, and then we can always roll it over into that second hour, which will be at 8 p.m, because we're going to let our Jamie, we're having a Jamie sandwich tonight. So we're putting Jamie in the middle there. He's going to go in that middle hour. So I've actually had a look through what the bundle was and chose some of the elements to work with. So first of all, I wanted to bring that beautiful edgeable there into play. So we're going to use that one in our project. I also wanted to use the tag, but then when I got going with the design on the project, it didn't need the tag, but I love these, the sort of tropical flowers and that lovely leaf there. We're going to use those. I've taken the sentiment from the little sentiment set and just printed out the birthday wishes just for you, and I've stamped that one out ready there. I've cut a lot of the flowers out ready, so you can see these go together beautifully. Again, these are all fit through your little mini machines if you have the hand held machines. Love this gorgeous leaf section on here. Okay, so we've got some of those to embellish with when we're finished, but I wanted to actually show you how this one cuts. And then I couldn't resist, these are beautiful. If you don't buy anything else tonight, this one is worth its weight in gold. So we get in here 8 by 8 inch vellum, and it's weighed in GSM, so grams, and this is 150, which is about middle of the road for vellum. And you've got 24 printed sheets, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different designs, 4 pieces of each, and these are absolutely stunning. So if I just pop these out to show you, and a lot of people are afraid to work with vellum because it's not the easiest thing to stick together, but there are ways around it. So I'm just going to grab my shim there just to show you some of the designs. And if you've not come across vellum before, it's a bit like a parchment paper. It's got a translucency to it. You can see my hand through there, rather than a cardstock that would actually block the light. It's opaque. So if we pop that on there, you can see there absolutely stunning designs with those little hummingbirds, and you get, like I said, 4 of each design there. So we'll take that one away. We've got that lovely jade green, and that's the one I think that I've picked to use. Yeah, there's only 3 of that one left. We're going to use that one. We've got the blue version in there. We've got another sort of more of a grass green in there. I love this one as well. The turquoise and the pinks together, really, really sort of typical of that collection. And then the last one is just the teal colour, and again, absolutely stunning. Okay, and we've also got some of the textured cardstock available as well on the website. So what I've done is I've married those together, and I've made my panels for my card. So I've used some of the cardstock from the pack. This has got a slight texture to it, and I've used that green version of the vellum. And the secret with that, if it's a printed vellum that's got some colour to it, our dotty tape pen works wonders behind it. That's all been stuck down with the dotty tape pen. And if we get our Charlotte to come and have a little inspection, you can't see the dots. I've gone all the way around the edge of it there, and you can't see them underneath.
Can you read one?
No. Thank you, Charlotte. So with a plain vellum, they do show a little bit, and there are other ways of popping it together with sort of brads, or you can hide your tape if you're going to have a focal point on it, pop the tape underneath it. But I just think with these printed vellums, that works lovely. So the first part of my card is going to be sort of the Z fold, and we're going to put those on like so. We'll get those stuck down so that that's done out of the way before I do the die cutting. And then we're going to make it into a double Z fold, which means we're going to add another piece. And this is really, really a simple, it's one of those that looks difficult, but when you realise how it's done, it's a very, very simple card to make. But you get that sort of wow effect when it's finished. So I'm going to put that one on there. I'm just using my straightforward double-sided tape pen for this one, not the dots. I keep the dots for using with the die cuts and things like that.
Are the dots back in stock yet, do we know?
We're still waiting, aren't we? Yeah. So that one's going to go on the front. So this is called a Z fold because you can see there we've got that sort of Z shape. Now to make it into a double Z fold, this has been cut from a piece of A4, and this is the piece that I actually cut off the side. So this was my full sheet, and I've literally scored it in exactly the same places. So it's scored halfway through to make my half fold, and then I folded it back on itself, and you can see here we've got exactly the same formation. So to make your double Z fold, all we're going to do is literally flip this piece over completely, and then it goes on this way to make that double Z there. You can see inside. But what I want to do is cut that border into here first. So let's have a look at this one. This is just 6 inches long, okay, and it is like one of our, if you're familiar with our edgeables range, it is actually part of the range. It's not, and what that means is that it's got no cutting edge along the straight side. So this is going to stay attached to your card. This side's going to cut out all that beautiful detail, and you've got all the intricacy in the middle. But this one's going to stay attached to whatever you cut it to. Now, if you wanted it as a piece of lace, all you need to do is pop it in your guillotine and cut that straight edge so that you've got a separate topper. But I'm actually going to cut it into here. So again, a little bit of tape just to keep it in place. And I'm going to cut it into the bottom section here. So I'm just going to line it up as close as I can get it to the bottom without it overlapping. Pop a little bit of tape in there, and then just grab my plates again to pop that through the Gemini. Now again, anything that's within the parameters of that 9-inch by 6-inch plate, which is your Gemini Junior, will fit through that smaller machine. I happen to have got my larger one out, so I'm just going to pop it in there and pass it through the Gemini. And this is going to cut out all that lovely detail into that piece that we're going to use as the band. And I've got one done ready just to show you what I was, where I was heading with it.
All right, lots of people chatting away. Colour questions, Connie. That last card, did you colour the centre of pearl before embossing it or after embossing it?
Afterwards. Yeah, either works, but I just find that the embossing takes on a better depth of colour if you do it afterwards. If you do it before, you're going to get the background with the intensity, whereas if you do it afterwards, you get the embossing with the intensity. So whichever sort of look you're after. So again, I'm just going to release that tape off here. I'm just keeping an eye on the clock. Our Jamie's back in the building. Okay, and then just very, very gently ease this out of the metal there. And then I'm just going to snip away that little bit here to the fold line, and then use the fold as my guideline there to cut this away. So we've now got part of our border that we're going to use
very
for
detailed and delicate, isn't it?
that Z fold now is going to have that lovely delicate lace on it. So I've actually prepared this. You can see here I've got exactly the same thing, but I've repeated it on the second half. So I've done exactly the same with the die and done it on the second half. I've added a little tiny bit of turquoise ink around the bottom and some little slivers of the leftover cardstock just across the top, and this is actually going to form. And rather than do it lower down, I'm going to do it from the top this time because I wanted that bit to look as if it was like a little lace curtain drop at the top.
Like a net helmet?
Yeah, sort of.
Good name for a drag queen, that, a net helmet. A net helmet, love that.
So I'm going to leave it there because all we've got to do now is actually put the card together. So I'm going to leave it there. If you can rejoin us at 8 p.m, you'll see me pop it all together. But I'm going to sort of hand over to the break, and then we'll bring our Jamie in, and I will see you back here at 8 p.m. if you can continue watching.
What would your drag name be? Have you ever
What would
worked it
my
out?
drag name? Do you know, I can't say as I've ever thought about it. That's a really...
I'll tell you what, I'll leave
ideas
that with
on
you.
a postcard.
I'll leave that with you. You can let me know.
The
Do you
mind
know what yours
boggles.
would be in the gallery? My favourite one, it's not, I didn't come up with it unfortunately, is Little Kim. Like Lil Kim, Little Kim. Good, isn't it? Yeah. Right, shall we take a break before we get ourselves in some trouble? And I'll tell you what we'll do is on the other side of this, we'll come back with Jamie and all things creative expression. See you in a sec.
Our craft experts come from all over the UK to HQ up in the northeast, and here they are telling you a little bit about where they're from and what it's famous for.
So I'm from a beautiful town called Carnoustie. So many people may recognise the town as a golfing town, famous golfing town. We get lots of big golfing events. I can't say that I'm a golfer myself, but we do get a lot of the celebs, golfers, musicians, actors, all of these turning up at the town. For those that aren't into golfing, what I would tend to say is it's sandwiched in between Arbroath and Dundee, so we are quite far up. I love my town, I love where I am now. However, I will say one of the main things that I miss about my hometown, apart from my family and friends of course, have to say that, otherwise they're going to watch this and be like, where's our mention? It is of course the beach. You know, we're right on the River Tay, we've got the gorgeous beach, the sand and the sea. It's absolutely beautiful. It's the one thing that I always make a beeline for as soon as I arrive back home for a little visit.
I was brought up in Colnbrick, which is a little village near Slough, so it's not very exciting, but we do have the third oldest pub in the whole of the UK there, and it's where the Cox's Pippin apple was first invented or first discovered. But I moved to Chiswick in West London about 25 years ago, and I've lived there ever since, and I love it. It's full of, I wouldn't necessarily say celebrities, but TV stars, so it's quite good for celebrity spotting when you're having a cocktail on the high road.
I have to tell you, every single person works tirelessly behind the scenes, and I can't just give a shout out to one person, because for me it has to be John, Tracy and Jake.
Going to give a shout out to our backstage hero, and I'm actually going to say heroes. It has got to be our product coordination team. It's got to be.
Because without those three people, when we're on air, we wouldn't be able to function like we do. They make sure we have everything we need, right from the samples to the product to having a drink of water throughout the show. They really look after us.
You see us day in, day out, 7 days a week, live on TV. We're crafting away, we're hopefully inspiring you. Every single card, every single product, every single tool that we touch has come from product coordination. Those guys are the unsung hero. They're there making sure we have the products, we have the inks, we have the tools, we have everything that we need. We have the power to actually work our Gemini ranges. The smooth running of behind the scenes of Crafters TV is all down to our product coordination team.
Really lovely to see some of our unsung heroes there at Crafters TV. You might have heard some of our unsung heroes as well just before the break. I'm going to tell you, Jake was in the studio. Jake has an alarm to let him know when it's time to come in to switch the shows over. Yeah, this is alarm going off. Right, at least he was here early. That was the issue. He's gone bright red now. A lot of love coming in for that last project. Mary says, Joe, you're right. Do you ever think about what your drag name might be?
Oh, I was standing over there thinking, I hope I don't get asked this. No, I have never given this any consideration at all.
Oh, okay.
No.
I feel like we should all, for me, it's one of those things that if someone asks you, you just have it ready to go right away.
Don't they do like I'm sure I've seen something like where it's like the day you were born on is like one word and
maybe
then
there's
the month.
A generator. Mine,
yeah, some sort of generatory thing,
If I
I'm
had
sure.
to narrow it down to one, mine would be Gypsy Van Berger. That's what I'd call myself.
Gypsy Van Berger.
Yeah,
I like that. That's
it.
a good one. Yeah.
Anyway, enough about me. Jamie's back with us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Feeling rested and refreshed, ready for the final hour?
Yeah, always a pleasure to be here. So always ready to go. Yeah.
Brilliant. It's been a really busy day so far, isn't it? Lots of lovely collections. We're going to see loads of brilliant inspiration as well in this hour. Let's dive in then and kick things off. So we're going to start with the stitched, pierced. Why do I keep calling it stitched?
Well, it sort of gives that illusion, doesn't it? It's like a starting point. If you wanted to stitch them, you could.
So where did you start with this? What was where did you find the inspiration for this? Because you've designed these, haven't you?
I have, yeah. They're all out of my little head, which is always quite a scary place. I don't envy anyone to enter there. But basically, many years ago, when we started in the craft industry, or I started in the craft industry, we used to have templates, like brass templates, and we would literally the holes would be marked in them, and we would go through with a pin and poke every single hole. And a stencil would take you a very long time to do. And obviously, sometimes you could mistakenly double pierce them or sort of damage them. So it was quite annoying, but very lovely and very therapeutic. And I always really enjoyed that. But I'm a big believer in the older crafts. It's like the tea bag folding collection I did. I love the older styles, and I feel like in today's world we've got the ability to modernise them. So why not take all of these crafts that we've been doing for years and give them an easier, quicker, more fail-safe way of doing them.
So on the creative expression teams does. It's not going to come to me now. It's on the tip of my tongue. Was it an old style of cutting, isn't it? There's a
paper cutting.
Not paper cutting, no. So it's an old. Oh, it's a stamping style.
Paper piecing.
Lino, that was it.
Lino cutting.
Yeah, lino cutting.
I know that our lovely Jane Gill does some stamps.
That was it. That's what I'm thinking of.
She does stamps that give the effect of lino cutting.
Well, that's
again,
kind of another take, isn't it, on old style of craft?
But like Jane, she's modernised lino cutting by bringing it to you in a clear stamp format, so you don't have to do the lino cutting yourself. And this is what I feel we can do now, because we've got that ability to modernise these products.
You can tell that my brain's not really firing on all cylinders this evening, Jamie, can't you? It took me a long time to get there to lino cutting.
Excuse me.
But
it's
really
fine.
beautiful.
It's a
was this
long
one
day.
you did in the earlier show?
Yeah, that's one of the ones. Yeah, it's the same idea. So not the exact
beautiful
one, but same idea.
And I love that one there.
This one I like the way it's stitched and there's little beads added in between them. So when we're talking of stitching, I don't know if you can see them on first glance, but there are tiny little seed beads added in between each of the stitches that our lovely Christine's done for us on that one.
Really, really cool. And then that one again, I mean, it's kind of hard to see that that's the same. It's completely different, isn't it, across the two?
This one is actually quite nice, Jack, because it's something I haven't mentioned, but that die, you've probably seen it here, them parts all fold forward. So if you want to lift them out and you want to make them more 3D, you absolutely can do. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I've put cut lines in there, so either you can trim them out as separate items, or you can just lift them parts forward.
Perfect, love that. And again, another one there that's been done with that. And you've also got the sentiments, which I'll show you in just a second, actually. The sentiments. Let me hang on to those for a moment. $78.99 or $114.49 gets you all of those, the whole collection. Everything, I should say, is available as well individually. So if there's certain elements that you like, absolutely go and grab those, pick and choose, but you will get the saving when you get them all together, which is brilliant. Sentiments is what we're going to look at next. These are half gone. The sentiments, really busy. Lots of you of these in your basket at the moment as well, and really nice sentiments. You said you can mix and match these as well, Jamie, to a degree. Yes,
you can, yeah, because of the die, basically you've got two separate dies. You've got the word die and you've got the label die, or the back panel die. So if you want to mix and match the words between them, you can do. Obviously, some of the longer ones aren't going to fit on some of the smaller plates, so look at that as sort of a guidance, but absolutely, if you'd like to interchange them, you can to a degree. You can, of course, use your backing plates as well, not only with these sentiment dies, but other sentiment dies you may already have, or ones that may be come in, or you could of course stamp on them as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Really great. $19.99 or $28.92 if you wanted to get your hands on those ones just there. And then we've got the slim lines as well. Some real essentials in here, isn't there? As well as some extra sort of decorative elements for you.
Absolutely.
This one here then, the looped rectangles. That's sort of so simple but so effective.
Yeah, I also, something we haven't sort of highlighted today, the one on the left, I believe, if I always get this around the wrong way, but the one on the left, that is if you take the largest one and then cut the next one out of the middle. So that scallop on the inside of it is what's left once you've cut it out. So again, I feel you could use that part too if you'd like to, whether it be nested like that one to cut them out or just on their own. It makes quite a nice filigree sort of edge as well.
Really cool, love that. So you've got those there. You've also got these as well, which are your cut corner rectangles. And these ones have got sort of stitching, haven't they?
And I haven't shown you all day, actually, and I don't think I've got one to hand at the moment to show you this, but I'll try and dig one out at some point. With this one, there's a bit of a trick to this. If you want to shorten them, just cut it first of all in the die and then move it down the die and recut it. Because of it, I'm trying to explain this in words, which is never easy for me, but the frame will match. So if you wanted to turn that into a square, you can literally just move the actual cut
and
down
I guess
the
you
die,
can pop the die cut back in the die,
yeah, and it will
hold it nice and
it will
secure.
sit within the walls of the die. So it's when you look at that and you see it as a rectangle, think of using it as squares as well. Think of changing it around for your different size labels.
Love that. Absolutely love that idea. Then we've got this one here, which is a shadow box. So many different ways you can use this.
Absolutely, yeah. This again, you mentioned the word essential. To me, this is one of those. Something else we haven't highlighted with this one, it's very easy to go in and snip them bars out. So if you want to use this as bigger sections, or you'd like to make them all just one big opening, you can do. You'll see a couple of cards Sue's done that with in her examples, where she sort of stripped it down to one large rectangle and one square. Absolutely fine to do that. So do think about layering it or cutting about with it.
Then we also have this one here, which is a starburst, which is kind of sort of mandala themed as well. It's got that sort of vibe to it. I mean, it definitely could be festive, but you could take this through any season.
To me, this is one of them dyes where it's down to the colours you use. If you did that in pastel pinks and blues, you'd think baby cards.
It feels a bit like a poinsettia almost, doesn't it? If you wanted to do it in the reds.
Absolutely, you could certainly do that. It's going to be down to the sentiment you put on it and the extras you dress it up with to what season you're going to head for, really, isn't it?
Excellent. And then this one, which I know you absolutely love.
I do love this one. I am slightly biased to this one. I keep going back to this demo after demo because I think it is so delicate, so pretty. One of the finest work dyes I think we've ever done, and so easy to snip out of that frame. So if you don't want to use it in a sort of a DL format, do snip it out and then snip it about if you would like to.
Brilliant. You've also got embellishments, of course, as well. 2 sets of embellishments in this particular set, which are going to really help you create that scene. And then you've got your sentiments in there as well. Joy, peace, and Noel, as my old housemate's mum calls it. She genuinely thinks it's Noel. She won't have it that it's Noel. But maybe you know a Noel. You could use it for their birthday card as well.
Absolutely.
Let me share with you a couple of the samples then that have been done during this, using this as well. This one here, I mean, prime example. This is absolutely doesn't need to be festive whatsoever. You didn't have the sentiment in there. I took the sparkles on the tree away.
Exactly.
That could be any time of the year whatsoever.
But this is one of our stamp and die sets that Sue's used in there for the sort of forest set. But if you took that whole forest bit and the greeting away and just had that lovely blue whitey background, you could put so many different reasons and seasons over that one.
Loving this one here as well. I think some of the most simple cards are often the most elegant, most beautiful, aren't they?
And Sue's so good at doing her layers to match. If you look at that one, it's all just our coconut white card, layered and layered and layered. And then it's just that sort of festive burst with the lights and the wording, which again could be replaced at any reason or season, couldn't it?
Absolutely gorgeous. This one I love. It's like a department store window is kind of how this one makes me feel. You know when you go past the big fancy shops when you're in London or in city centre and they've always got wonderful things going on in the windows. That's
I love that idea.
Yeah, it really reminds me of that. This one we looked at earlier as well, which is wonderful. And then is that one the opposite to that one? So
Sue's cut out with all the top one. Sue's actually cut the dies out as such, and then she's cut them and sort of drop shadowed them as such, so you can see the 3 colours sort of poking through.
It's amazing.
Then all of the bits that have come out, not even all of the bits, but bits from each one of those that have come out, she's used for the base card and paper pieced them back in. But obviously, as you can imagine, you're going to make sort of 4 or 5 cards, maybe even more, out of all of the components that come out of them. Yeah. So this is just a snippet. So again, if you're batch making, very quick way to batch make your cards.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. And then we've also got this one here as well, which I love. And then of course your favourite. Is that again, that's a die cut stuck down, is it, on that one?
It is. So this is what I've done. It's a die cut stuck onto a self-adhesive sheet. And then over the self-adhesive sheet, I've sprinkled our gold pixie powders, which normally you mist them to activate them. But if you just leave them as a powder format, they keep that very old gold colouring. And over that, I've sprinkled on our Sahara gold glitter bits that we've got on today's show, which is the bit that's giving you the glittery sparkle.
Really, really gorgeous. It's a wonderful one. And then another one with the ivy, the holly, sorry, there as well, which is that one, as you can see, which again is, I'm guessing that's pixie powders on there, is it?
It is, yeah, actually it's pixie powders and I've painted with them. So I've mixed them into a paint and I've just done like a blended background with them before cutting the holly into it and then cutting it down onto that sort of panel.
Absolutely beautiful, wonderful selection of dyes for you. $103.49 or $149.99 if you want to get your hands on those. Do not miss out on them. $82.79 or $119.99 if you are a platinum member. If you've got any questions for Jamie in this hour, please get them into me. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are over on YouTube. But I know Jamie's got some sparkly bits to share with us.
I have, yes. I'm going to show you the glitter jewels to begin with. So these are really cool. These are one of our Cosmic Shimmer products. Cosmic Shimmer is actually our in-house award-winning brand at Creative Expressions, which brings us all our fun mediums and bits. And we literally do thousands of different products. But we're going to start off with Diamond Sprinkle. Now, to me, this looks like miniature pieces of tinsel that have sort of been cut down and put into a jar for you. And they've got that iridescent sparkle. So very, very sparkly, very, very Christmassy and ready to go straight over your double-sided tape, over your glue, over your foam tape if you'd like to. So many ways we can use these. Then I'm going to show you the iced snow. So I know in your picture, when you look at these online, they look very similar, but they're very different products. If we bring this one out, this is like shards of a very transparent but sort of icy glitter that, again, as you can see, is going to dance very nicely in the light, really good for your snow effects, and very, very transparent but sparkly. Then we have iced crystal. Now this one is a completely different one again. This time we've got like a really crushed ice style feel to this, but it's got that same iridescence running through it. So if you wanted to do like a little scene of a snowman and you want the snow to go on the bottom of the card, you're going to get a lot of texture out of this one to give you that style.
Amazing. And lovely how they're all different, because I mean, when I first saw them in the pots last night, I didn't realise there were 3 different products, but they're going to give you 3 different looks and
3 different effects.
Feels. Yeah, 12.15 or 17.62 if you want to get all 3 of those. They are brilliant. I know you guys love all the cosmic shimmer. I can't say that for some reason tonight. There's a lot of things I can't say tonight, Jamie. Cosmic shimmer products that we bring to you, which is wonderful. But then we also have the glitter bits as well.
Yeah, so same sort of family of products as such.
You've got absolutely
I'm
loads
covered in them, aren't I?
here.
Before I come in, I was very
You actually got a bit like on your eyelid that's about to fall into your eye. Yeah.
I stood out there with one of them rollers rolling my arms, and your poor guy walked past and I thought he must think I'm absolutely bonkers. Here I am rollering my arms clean. Yeah, they get everywhere and I'm just terrible. So these are our glitter bits. This time we are looking at a glitter with 3 different size particles in here. So when we bring these out, you're going to see it sparkle in all different sizes. So first of all, we've got our lovely red here, which again, good for Valentine's Day. It's not going to be long till we're starting on them projects, is it? And then we've got our hunter green, which to me reminds me of you talk of department stores. This reminds me of a very posh department store in London, that shade of green.
Asda.
So, yeah, so that's the one, yeah. In my world, that is posh, Joe. Don't be so judgy. Bring that one out. And then we have our gold, and this is the Sahara gold. So again, we bring this one out. We've got them 3 different size particles, and we've got that beautiful sparkle. It's probably one of the most sparkliest glitters I think I've ever seen, because the light hits the fragments in all different angles due to the different sizes.
They would. They really, really would. They look great on things like honeycomb ornaments, is what Dana is saying in the comments. They would be perfect for those. Holly, a lot of love still coming for that last collection. Mary Rhino specifically loving the mandala snowflake and the holly as well in both of those. It's been very busy on these all day today. It continues to be really busy now. This is your last live hour to get your hands on these Creative Expressions products. So do, if you want to get hold of them, please make sure you're getting them into your baskets and confirming your order, because it is really, really busy on these at the moment right now. But I know Jamie's got no doubt loads he wants to squeeze into this last hour. So where would you like to kick things off, Jamie?
We're going to start with a really quick, simple card. This one's so easy to do, but I think it's quite pretty for you to see how we can use them glitters in different ways. So this is the card that we're going to do, and it's using that lovely holly panel, as you can see. I'm going to be honest, I've gone ahead already. I've pixie sparkled or pixie powdered my background, and I've already cut it down. And this is quite a nice thing to point out too, because we don't have to use them the size of the die, obviously. I'm sure you're aware of that. But if we bring actually in the die, you can see that the die is quite a lot larger. So I've literally trimmed this down to the size of the panel
I wanted it to be. So does the die cut around the outside at all, Jamie?
So the die actually on its own will stay completely in your cardstock. So as you can see, it's attached to the side of this blue panel here, and it's not going to go anywhere. That's actually attached to it. And when I actually started this project, it was attached on all of the sides because I'd only cut through my pixie panel with this die. In with the die, you will receive an outside cutting edge, and this is that actual item. If you'd like to nest round it, you can do, so that will then come out as a completely separate panel. So if you do want to use it just as it is and don't want to leave it attached to a larger piece, you can do that. If you would prefer, then obviously today we've brought you some nesting shapes as well, and if I can just grab this die from over here, I'll bring in our loopy design here, we can place that down, and again that would then cut this panel out with a loopy edge around it. So if you do want to have more dramatic edges to it, or you'd like a wider border around it, then you can do that with the different nesting dies we've brought you today. So it just gives you a few more options on how you can be using these. For the one I'm going to do though, as I mentioned, I've gone ahead and we've trimmed this part down. I'm then going to bring in a piece of self-adhesive sheeting. Now these come to us in A4 sheets and they're ready to go the second you've sort of taken them out of the pack. I've gone ahead and stuck one side down onto a piece of card so that it's got a back into it, and I've got this side as my sticky side. I'm going to bring on my panel. Now this is brave to do on TV, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to take this part and we're going to line this up on the side here. And then we're going to let that holly part go down and detach itself where needed. We could always trim the panel if required, but I think that's quite good. We'll bring in this. Yeah, that weren't too shabby, was it? We'll bring this part in and just pad that down over the top. Now what this means is the bit that's left underneath is now self-adhesive. So we can bring in those glitters and add them over the top of this. So we're going to go for our lovely gold. Now I mentioned I've done my card already with some pixie powders, but you could have done this with misters, you could have done this with blended ink, it could just be coloured card, it could be a paper pad, it could be so many items. You just really want a contrasting colour to the glitter that you're going to be using. And I'll put that down. I'll use one of our little adhesive sponges to just burnish this down into all them areas.
I love this. What a simple but effective technique.
It's such an easy way to use them, isn't it? And a really lovely way to showcase these beautiful glitters. So we'll just carry on brushing that away. And you can see I've tipped on quite a bit of glitter, but you're going to use a very small amount actually onto your project. So you're going to get a lot to put back into your pot and get a large coverage if you're using them on these sheets. So you can take that to there, we'll push that bit back down because I caught it slightly with my sponge. And then we have our panel ready to decorate.
Wonderful.
How easy was that though? And it's such a sparkly centrepiece. Maybe that could have been in green. I'll show you one in green in a second as well, because I've sort of done you a different colourway today. So we'll put our glitters back into our pot. I'll come back for the rest of that shortly, and we'll bring in some pieces of our card. So we're going to go on to our card blank. I've just gone for a small little card this time. We're going to use our Cosmic Shimmer glue once more. And we're going to go on first of all with an antique gold layer.
Is this like a sort of PVA based glue, is it?
It is, yeah. This is our Cosmic Shimmer Dries Clear Glue. It is, as you say, a PVA glue. It's brilliant because it dries very quickly and it's very strong and it's clear. I'm quite a messy gluer, so it's quite good because if you do get any come out the sides, it will dry clear, as it says, so it's not something you've got to worry about if there's any sort of visible areas. Now, colour-wise, I'd already done the blue version for you on the card I had and show you at the beginning, so let's bring in a green version. Holly should be green in theory, shouldn't it? I don't really know where the blue holly come from, so let's go green. Well, we had blue on that one, didn't we? So we'll have green on this one, and we'll bring that in, and we'll put that down there. And we went for a portrait card last time, so let's go for a horizontal one this time instead. So we'll bring in a little panel to go down here. We can then add on another matching piece of our green to go on top of that. Line them up slightly, and then I've just gone for a small little sentiment that I'm going to pad on and place onto that part as well, just with a bit of glue. This is one of our mini expressions that we've brought to you before, I believe.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I believe we've had those. Lots of you already owning those at home, I'm sure.
And then that gives you a green horizontal or a blue portrait, whichever way you prefer.
What a really amazing, quick technique to do that looks incredible. I think you had to batch make some cards. Wouldn't that be a great way of doing it? If you could, I bet you could get a production line of those going, have loads of them done in no time at all. Let me just quickly share with you again then what it is that you are getting in this collection. As you can see, it is your Jamie Rogers Pierce Craft 5-piece die collection, and in there you've got those Christmas roses. We also have the bauble diamonds. Then we've also got this one here, which is your Christmas cottage and your snowflake mandala, and then the embellishments. I've just realised that we've done the slim lines, haven't we? And I've given you the details for the Christmas. I tell you what, I'm going to give you the details for the slim line as well, and then you will have both of them, which is brilliant. So that's what's coming in the Christmas collection, and then in the slim line collection, these are what you have. So you've got those looped rectangles, which are awesome. You've got the cut corner rectangles, which are these ones here. Then we have the shadow box. Remember, you can snip some of those out should you wish. You've also got the starburst, the holly swirls that you've just seen Jamie use there, and then we've got here the Christmas embellishments in the 2 different sets, and you've also got the festive panel sentiments as well, 103.49 or 149.99. is your price on that. Now the sentiments, which are going to go, well, they're great on their own actually, but they're designed to go with Jamie's collection. Over half gone here on these, and you're going to receive in there Let It Snow, which is the first one. You've also got Merry Christmas, Season's Greetings. That one there says Joyful Tidings, and you've got Festive Wishes too, and you can mix and match a lot of those across the different plaques that you've got there that go with that, or maybe even just you create a card using just those as your focal point, which is absolutely something you can do. Any questions you've got, get them into me. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion over on YouTube. Remember, it is your last live hour to get your hands on all these creative expressions items this evening, so do not miss out. Lots of you still tuning in saying hello. Melanie says how pretty that is, what a clever technique, says Mary also. Nora says happy Wednesday from Arizona. Happy Wednesday, Nora. Happy hump day to you. Clarisse says that's gorgeous. Mary also says how gorgeous is the holly in the green too. Beautiful cards, Jamie. Feel I'd enjoy making them. Well, you can make all of them if you get these items home. And Joy, the lovely Joy Sampson. Hi Joy, I haven't seen you for ages. Says yes, they look absolutely magical. They really, really
That's very kind of you, thank you. Very
right,
sweet.
what would you like to share with us next, Jamie?
I thought we'd do a very simple white on white card.
Nice.
I know these are tricky for TV, so I apologise in advance, but I thought it was quite nice to show you how you could really step these back with the pierced element, keep them very, very plain and simple if you'd like to. But of course, if you want to bring in more, you can add more to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by just layering up the back of our card. So this is the boring bit, but we need to talk about it, don't we? So I've gone for an 8x8 white card. I've just stepped down and 1/4 of an inch increments for my first white layer, then my second white layer, and then on top of that I'm going to put a embossed panel so that we have all of our layers playing together nicely there. We can then go on to talking about our die. So with this one, this is the die I've gone for. Again, a bit like the holly die, it does have a separate edge to it. So if you would like to leave it cut into your cardstock like the demo we did on the last show, Joe, or if you would prefer, you can cut it out using the outside edge like I have here, so we have a freestanding element. Now with this one of the things I really wanted from it was the ability that you could trim into this and sort of cut away different ideas or different elements. So we're going to start off by cutting away this top part. So maybe you don't want to attach it to a square and you would like this to pop up on one of your easel cards. Perfect. And you would like that in the air. You could absolutely do that. If you would prefer, slightly meaner, but we can go in here, and I'm not going to do this so I'm keeping the Father Christmas part, because if I did, I would then sacrifice the top of the mountain and have a flat mountain, which you can do if you would just like to use Santa Claus and the reindeers. But instead, we can go in and we can remove Father Christmas from the top here. We can leave them stars in there if we'd like. We can even leave the moon. So again, as another option, we can go in, we can remove him, leaving, well, there you go, actually, there are the stars and that moon part there. Or we can carry on going in and we can just remove these. So again, layer-wise is what I'm trying to show you here. You've got lots of options layer-wise to which bits you wish to use. But I'm going to carry on snipping, so we go right back to just the mountain range on the top. So we've sort of give you sort of 4, 5 different points of cutaways
really
there.
Cool, isn't it?
And different pieces you can hopefully find uses for on their own or all together.
I guess if you did like a theatre card as well, you could do 4 or 5 different layers with different elements sticked out, couldn't you? Really build up something very, very textured. Different colours, different ways. You can back these parts if you would like to and put different colours of card underneath them at each stage. Or you could paper piece in the parts that have come out from the trees. So yeah, it's a really, I really wanted a collection that you could leave very plain and simple or really go to town and dress it up. But either way, you're going to hopefully end up with a really lovely card. Perfect. That was sort of part of my plan, if you like. So I've brought in this one here and I've left the frame on the top part. The next one down, I've snipped away the frame. So we've got Father Christmas going across the top. Then we have our next layer down, which is basically the part I just ended up with when we cut away all of the pieces. And we're going to poke this one out through. So we've got our little doorway open and we can then place that on the top there, which again will replace your mountain ranges if you have cut them away in such a way that you've kept Father Christmas. And then we can remove our tape from this one, which is all pre-done, if I can get these bits off. Done all right today. I watched Leanne earlier, bless her, suffer with the tape. Sometimes it just doesn't want to move, does it? No, I think it smells fear, doesn't it, the tape we were saying earlier. So we'll get rid of these bits, we'll bring in our frame, check our cards the right way, and we'll place that on there.
And then just to finish off our very simple white work card, I've gone ahead and I've layered up one of my sentiments already. So we've got Merry Christmas that's just going to go on the base of it like so. And again, if you wanted to batch make, how simple would it be to go ahead and cut out a load of them, and then again, sitting in front of the TV of an evening, start snipping them about, ready to build up, even apply your foam tape, and then you can get back in your room and build them when you're ready.
And it gets so beautifully quick as well, because all the detail's in the die for you, isn't
Yes.
it? You're not really having to add anything to it. All of the design detail is in there for you. I will remind you again what you're getting in there. So you're getting that Christmas roses, which is this one just here. We've also got the bauble diamonds. Then you've got the Christmas cottage. Then here you have that snowflake mandala. And of course then your embellishments for it. $78.99 or $114.49 is your price there on those. Right, we are going to take a really quick break for you, give you a chance to check out your baskets. We'll be back with you on the other side of this.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
The one that was really funny, Ben. You didn't.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that? Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
What makes Crafters TV so special is you guys.
It's really special because the experts are really experts. They're really skilled at what they do, and they want to make sure that the audience also improves on their skills.
Crafters TV is so special because you've got together a really sort of key group of people and people that are very passionate about the products.
Crafters TV is so special because it's a unique community that we have with each other, where we can learn and grow and communicate with each other.
Community, the family spirit, the education, everything to do with craft. We are all like-minded people who share a passion.
I love all the inspiration the demonstrators bring and all the knowledge for us out here.
What makes Crafters TV so special? 100% it's the interaction. No other crafting TV channel or show has the same interaction.
I love the community, I love chatting live, I think that's the best part. And it's gone beyond crafting because we've become friends.
It feels to me to be a really, really close relationship with our customers and viewers.
You guys make us feel like we're part of your family. I've never been on the show before, but one of my friends who I did meet from CCTV encouraged me, and I was on the craft along.
A massive team of people, and I think they've all got their role to play, and it just brings everything together. It allows us to do our job and just love it.
The people, obviously. The people not just here at Crafters Companion, but the viewers that watch us. I mean, everybody. We have this real magical essence about it.
Bye for now. Bye.
Very, very busy on all things creative expressions that you've seen so far in this show. Some wonderful demos so far, some still to come, of course, as well. We're going to have another look at these. We're going to go back to the slim lines that you've got here. These are amazing. They are really super versatile. You've got that first one is your looped rectangles. This is then your cut corner rectangles too. So many different ways you're going to be able to use those, whether using the portrait or landscape, of course. Then you've got your shadow box die there as well. You're also getting the starbursts and your holly swirls. Then you're getting your embellishments as well. Two different sets of the embellishments coming your way in here. 103.49 or 149.99 is your price there on those, so definitely snap those up. Right, let's head back to Jamie. What would you want to share with us next?
Okay, I thought I would share. I've spoke to you a couple of times about this today when I'm talking about the engraving technique I like to do, which basically means we put a little bit too much in the machine and it doesn't quite cut and it leaves it staying in the cardstock, which I know is sort of...
I'd not seen this done before.
Well, it's sort of against everything we try and tell you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, normally we stand here and say our dies cut brilliantly and this is what you're going to achieve, and these do, but if we can put too much in it, we can create different effects of those pieces. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I'll show you a little bit more about that card. We're going to swap the die, and we're going to use the holly die. I told you I'm a little bit biased to this one, so we're going to show you with this one, but all dies will work the same. What I have here is 2 pieces of silver mirror card. Now our mirror card is quite a good quality mirror card, so it's quite a thick thing for the machine to try and go through. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of this in one time, hopefully under the belief, even with a Gemini, that it's not going to quite cut through both of them. Now, if it does, I'll be able to show you on the back of that die cut pretty quickly that it's cut, and there's a way around that too. We can just put a layer over the back of it and basically hold all of the pieces that have cut through still in place, which will still give you the effect. But if we're lucky, being quite a nice material to cut through,
feeling lucky?
it'll stay in place. Yeah.
Okay.
We won't tell them we did a test in the break, Joe. Shh, secrets. But it's good to get to grips with this machine, because every machine works slightly differently, doesn't it? So when we go to this cut, we can see on the reverse of this one that we haven't actually gone all the way through on this top layer. So if we lift that off, this is now stayed in our actual piece of card. Now, if you really pushed on some of the areas, you would possibly get it to go through. But for this bit, that's perfectly in place. As I mentioned, if it had gone all the way through, then either glue a piece of card over the back of it if you've got a self-adhesive sheet, even if you've got some sellotape and you just want to put some lines there to hold the pieces in place, that will give you the same effect. The one beneath, just so you can see how well the dies do cut, it's cut through this absolutely perfectly, even though it's trying to cut through 2 pieces at once. All of these pieces, slightly fiddly as they are, will of course be removed, and you will end up, if we flip this over, with your beautiful holly die cut with all of these pieces removed. I'm going to get that one out just so you can see it has cut, and it's me being fiddly with my fingers. There you go. So as you can see, beautiful cut on layer 1, but of course staying in the cardstock on layer 2. Now this is what I've already gone ahead and done with my Starburst die set. So we'll get rid of these pieces and we'll bring in one of the Starburst. So this is what we have. Now on this one, I did have a couple of pieces that started to come slightly away. So I have just stuck a couple of bits of card on the back of them, just to give it some support. Now what we can do is there's a bit of a cheating paper piecing style. We can bring in our alcohol markers again, because we're working on mirror board. Please excuse the squeak, and actually we'll use the bolder tip. We'll go down these bits and just colour these in. Now, if you was at home, or if I was at home, I would be picking out which bits so that this matched up perfectly and playing around a little bit more with time on my side. But we can go up right up to them lines. We've done some blue bits. Let's do some nice yellow, bold bits coming out. And again, like me and Joe were saying earlier, this is very much down to the colours you want to use to the effect you're going to achieve. So we'll add in some green as well, because hopefully you can see these okay. Going down to quite a thin point up there. Now you're going to notice that I'm not worried about my lines here. I'm going over the lines. I'll show you why in a second. I'm going to colour out them bits. And you can do as much or a little as this as you want.
It makes your eyes go a bit funny, this one, doesn't it, on the silver card? It's like really, really detailed.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? Sorry, I could have chosen a different card, because of course it doesn't have to be mirror card. You could do this technique. Pearl card looks really good. Okay. And if you colour on pearl card with alcohol markers, it makes it look pearly. So again, that's quite a nice little tip if you haven't done that with alcohol markers before. But once we have all of these bits coloured, even though we've gone over the lines, what we're then going to do is bring in one of the cuts in black. So we've got the same outside piece in black, and we're going to glue that over the top. And that will then hide all of the lines that we've coloured over. And it will look like we have individually paper pieced each piece. Really and it will give you a stained glass window effect.
Yeah, I love that.
So very easy to do, but saves you hours of paper piecing and trying to keep hold of your pieces. So I'm going to skip ahead with this one, because I know that time is, of course, always ticking. And we're going to go on to the card blank and we'll glue these pieces together. Now, when I did my one at home, I also wanted to add a bit more to it. Now, I love clear embossing over my panels, especially when I've coloured them in. I'm not the best colourist, and I find that if I add some clear embossing powder over the top of it, the varnished effect that does distracts the eye a little bit. So I can get away with being a terrible colourist, being quite honest.
Okay. I'm sure you're far from terrible.
It's not good. So what I did is I decided that with my panel, I was going to take some clear, sparkly embossing powder and put it over the top. So I'd got a high gloss finish with a sparkle. Although when I picked up my powder, I didn't realise it actually contained white.
Okay.
You know, was a bit of a problem, but actually I really liked it. This is the Aurora Crystal Sparkle. Now, we haven't bought these for you today, so I'm not going to tease you with those, but I'm sure they've got lots of different embossing powders on the website from ourselves and other brands that you can check out. But it's basically just a sparkly one with a white base to it. Had it have just been sparkly, then of course we would have ended up with more of a sort of transparent glitter effect going on. But I actually, as you say, Joe, I quite like the white bit coming through as well. It sort of coloured over a bit of the black of the frame and gave it a slightly different texture. So I'll place that down, and then just to tease you furthermore, I'm going to bring in this large Merry Christmas, which is one of Sue's dies that was released this year as well. But of course you could add on any sentiment that you wanted to. But I've just cut this out of some silver mirror, and we're going to place this down here just to finish that off. And we'll try and get that end.
I also think, I love the idea of leaving some blank space on a card as well. You know, you don't need to fill every single element or part of the card. It definitely can have some blank space.
No, exactly. Why, you know, sort of clean and simple cards are quite lovely in their own right. So why not leave that bit of area if you want to? And again, it gives you slightly a different idea. And if you did get Sue's fairies or angels throughout the years, standing one of them on the front of this, I think would look really nice.
Would look absolutely perfect, wouldn't it? Let me just show you some of the other samples that have been made using this particular collection, because there are some really gorgeous ones within here. So that one there, firstly, you can see is using that holly. But again, completely different look and feel. Look, same die, really something quite different. So you've got that one just there. And again, a third one there using the holly. And again, a third completely different style of card. There's another example of how you can use the this one here with the starburst. Do you know what always makes me throws me with your samples is they're not cards. Because they're not on a card. They're not on a. They're not. I always got to stand it up and then I can't open it and I'm thinking I can't get into this.
Sue doesn't like making cards. She only makes panels, and she has little stands that she stands them on. And when she sends them to her friends and family, she puts the little like cardboard stand, so they sit like they're on a little like art canvas. What do they call it? Easel. That's the word I'm looking for. Stand on like a little easel, which I think is a lovely idea.
Yeah, every once in a while I realise it's not a card when I try and stand it up. And again, another awesome one just there. Really cool. Love all the different colours that you've got in here. And again, a really simple one, just using the nesting dies, but with a bit of embossing on there. That embossing folder is beautiful, wherever that's from.
So that's Stylised Trees, I believe, is the name of that one. And I've coloured it in with alcohol markers over the top of pixie powdered background.
Yeah, really lovely that. If you want to go for this complete collection, you can. You will get some sentiments in there as well. As you can see, 103.49 or 149.99 if you want to get your hands on that particular collection just there. Right, I want to share with you, let me just bring this out of the way, the glitter jewels. Oof, these are amazing. Cosmic Shimmer is what I've got. I've got loads of the biodegradable stuff from.
Have you?
Yeah, I take it to festivals every year. And we all put it on. We all put it on. It's made to go on your faces because they've actually got they've actually got like a facial adhesive from Cosmic Shimmer, which is designed specifically for your skin.
We did have. I don't think we've got that at the moment, but we used to. Yeah, I might be wrong.
Plenty,
but I don't
so
think we
we're
have.
all right at the moment.
Oh, good.
I don't know how long you're meant to use it for after it's open. I've had it about 4 years now. It still works absolutely fine.
We are still here to tell the story, so we're doing good. You can be our test one.
Yeah, we'll see how long I'll see how long I can use it for. This is almost like, it's like crushed glass, isn't it? But it's not sharp in any way whatsoever. I'm going to be covered in this. And
We wouldn't do that to you.
Sorry?
We wouldn't do that to you.
No, I'm not sorry about it either. That is your ice crystal. Amazing. And the next one we've got here is the diamond sparkle. Let me open these up and show you these. Yes, it's like, they're like fibres that have fallen off of tinsel. It's the best way to describe it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was
It is absolutely amazing. I bet this is. Don't say that. Right, that one there is the No, I'm not going to. I'm going to take you on the edge of saying it. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Who knows? That is a diamond.
You can't leave
it's
us
like
hanging.
Unicorn poop. That's what I'd imagine. You know.
That wasn't what I expected.
Or unicorn. Oops. Oops. I imagine when if a unicorn does a little trumpety trump, that's what comes out.
Uh-huh. See, I always thought my mind was quite a strange place, Jay. I always thought my mind was quite a strange place.
Look.
I've never looked in them and thought that anything to do with unicorns.
This is me contained. This is me being contained. Let's hope no one's watching us. Right. Not that no one's watching us. I mean, no one.
Nobody official?
No one official is watching us. They all know what we're like. They still let us work together. And these are amazing. So that's like glitter, but some of it's see-through. It's kind of crunchy, isn't it?
Yes.
It's really cool. I love them. I absolutely love them. I really do. I should have gone with unicorn food, really, shouldn't I? That would have worked.
I can't wait to see what you come up with these, Joe.
Let's have a little look at these then. These, of course, the glitter bits. And glitters, but you were saying, Jamie, loads of different... I'm going to be covered in these, aren't I? Look at the coverage. Oh. No, my finger's dry. My finger's not wet, don't worry. No, it's absolutely complete. Look how well... It covers, even on a dry finger. There we are. Right, let's just pop that into there. I'm going to have to clean it off now, aren't I? I am covered
See,
in
I
glitter.
told
It's
you.
in my jeans. You see the mat back here. Daddy Jake's going to have a nightmare when he comes down. But again, I don't think I've ever seen.
And yet you're doing it again.
Because honestly, come in here, Charlotte, and put your finger in it, and you'll see just how satisfying it is. It is, isn't it, Jamie?
Yeah.
I think the thing is, what I love about it, it gives you the coverage of ultra fine glitter because you've got so many ultra fine particles in there. But then because you've got the big chunky bit, it still gives you like massive shine and shimmer, which is brilliant. One more.
Because you've got 3 different size particles. Still impressed with the coverage?
Very impressed.
Good, good.
It's amazing.
You could alternate your fingers.
I could, couldn't I? Let me just knock that off in there. Put something back in. Really, really cool. I absolutely love them. It is like pretty nails, isn't it? You could do like a little bit of nail art with them. Sprinkle those on there. Anyway, I had way too much fun there, Jamie. I don't know if you realised. I mean, that is the most fun I've had in weeks. Right, let's just put that off of there. It's absolute. I'm covered. The studio's covered. Right, we're going to go back to Jamie, and I'm going to try and squeeze one more demo in, aren't we?
Okay, that's no problem. Yeah. So this is the card that we're going to do. We're going to go for another white work card this time, playing around with the snowflake mandala from the Piercing collection. We've also got the poinsettia die set from that as well. One thing we haven't overly mentioned in this part, so I'm going to sort of go off on a bit of a tangent because I like you to see all these different ideas and you might not have seen the earlier show. This is the actual cut ready done. So I've sent it through, I've cut it out. Don't forget with these, if you would like to, you can go in and you can pierce through these holes.
Oh, okay.
So you might not want to stitch them, you might just want to open them up and make more of a focal point in certain areas. But they are spread out far enough apart that you can go in with your pokey tool and just open them out even further. So you can just really make that part sort of pop more if you would like to, or you can stitch through it. Obviously, I've only done a couple of swirls on this one. Earlier, I was showing you this designer as well. This is, of course, the bauble design. And as you can see on that one, I've sort of pierced out for each one of them. So maybe you might just want to do some stitching going across the diamonds in the middle, or maybe you might want to do the top bits, or maybe you just want to leave it more open so that one's more of a focal point. This is all just options for you. You can also, of course, do the same to the poinsettias. So I've just run down the middle of this one on the earlier show to show you how you could do that as well.
Awesome.
So then with this card, very simple. I've really tried to keep it quite simple today so we can try and show as many bits as possible. Just card blank, coconut white card that we're going to bring in and we're going to pop onto our card ready. We'll place that down here, so we've just got that white edge showing around there. And then on top of this, and I do this quite a lot with my cards, instead of just sticking a white piece of card on the top there, and then having quite a lot of exposed white space actually around the card, what I like to do is instead of emboss it in an embossing folder, which is going to sort of take away a bit of the focal point, I'll put it onto my scoreboard and I'll score at every half a centimetre or every half an inch. And then you can use it embossed or debossed. We're going to go for embossed this time. So it's sort of making your own ribbed cardstock as such. We'll place that down in the middle as well. And then we can go into our layers. So this time what I've gone ahead and done is I've used some of Sue's layers, and I've taken our lovely snowflake panel and I've just cut it out once I've cut it. So I've cut this part first, then I've put it into the rectangle and cut it out and layered it onto the larger one. So we can bring this in and stick it on. I have cheated a bit with this. I've already gone ahead and done this just because I wanted to put lots of pearls in place. And the last thing you want to do is watch me place all of these pearls down. So we'll place that onto our card. I've then got a frame to go around the edge of it, which is going to cover up the side cuts quite neatly. If you didn't
realised where the unicorn thing came from.
Okay.
I've just gone back into my my brain and thought about it. I was really thinking about it. There's that children's book, there's a children's book called My Unicorn Farts Glitter. Have you seen it or read it?
I'm very lucky.
Well-known children's book.
The youngest child in our little world is now 12, so yeah. I'm quite out of children's books.
So I think that's where the unicorn and the glitter connection comes from. So that's what it is. I think it might be. Is it a who is the book by, Johnny? Suzanne Button. It's your fault. There we go. Place the blame. Thank you.
We'll remember that for the meeting when you get in trouble.
We will. I mean, what are they going to do? Fire us?
Don't include an us in that. Taking me down with you. Sorry? You know, this isn't good. Taking me down with you.
Oh, but no, you're fine. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
You'll go back to creative expressions. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. If I'm called into a meeting there, I'm taking you.
You can blame me. Absolutely. Okay. I'm more than willing to take the blame.
Deal.
Heidi says, just to let you know, you will never get rid of that glitter on you. Next week, you will notice a little sparkle. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that.
So all I'm doing now is I'm just taking my poinsettia layers and I've cut these out of vellum, and as you can see I'm just using my tweezers to go down the middle of each of the petals and pinch them, just so we can then offset them, but they'll have that sort of curve and volume to them that we need them to have. So with these I just use a large foam pad in the centre and then just offset to build up like so. Again, if you've got some glitters and bits that you'd like to put around the edges of them, you certainly can do to make them sparkle even more. And I've got a head, I've got two of these, and we're just going to place these on the side out of our vellum. And then we're going to bring in a couple of the leaves. And because of this is vellum, we're going to hide them with the glue underneath the flower, just so we don't see the glue coming through. Because I'm not like Jan, I was quite impressed with Jan's little glue runner. That was good, the little dots. I hadn't seen them, yeah. I need one of them.
Cool.
So instead we're just going to use some little dabs of glue and tuck these in.
Do you know when you're back with us after today?
I don't actually know. A lot of our dates have sort of just been shifted, so I'm not too sure where we are and when we're coming back or anything. But I'm sure it won't be long till you'll see me again.
I hope not.
Hopefully not. It's good for the laugh. I need to be back just for the unicorn laughs, if nothing more.
We do like to have fun.
On the finished one, I've added some pearls across the top and the bottom just as an added finish, but it's up to you, obviously, how much you want to do.
Another absolutely beautiful creation right there. Let me just share this again with you, what you're going to get in that particular collection there. You will, of course, get the Christmas roses, which is this one here. We've then got the bauble diamonds, which is that one, which is really cool. You've also got your Christmas cottage, and you've got the snowflake mandala there. And then, of course, your embellishments. So that's $78.99 or $114.49. Everything is available individually. You get the saving when you get it all together, just so you know. And then we also have these ones just here, which are your sentiments, which are going to go with this particular collection. You've got Let It Snow. We've got Let It Snow, there we are. Merry Christmas. Season's Greetings. You've then got this one here, which is Joyful Tidings, and Festive Wishes there as well. And that's the kind of thing that you can do with those when you pop those onto a project, 1995 or $28.92 is your price for there on those ones. Don't miss out. Remember, this is that last live hour for you. I would definitely be getting these in your baskets and check them out. Lots and lots of you checking out at the moment. Lots of you, I think, been watching a lot of the shows all day and now making your mind up as to what you're going to go for. Let me just show you some samples of the last collection there first. Sorry, I realised I didn't show you these, did I? Here we go. Let me just share a couple of these with you from Jamie's collection. So beautiful. Love that they work equally as well in the darker cards, Jamie, as they do in the lighter card stock too.
Thank you. Yeah, that was hopefully part of the aim. And like the first card you held up, that one's such a good one to cut out and put photographs behind, as well as a scrapbooker. I love being able to add bits into them. These ones are done with some gilding flakes as well, with just a quickie glue pen if you'd like to add them on. The next one is one that we demoed in the last show as well. So if you'd like to see how that one's done, we've already done that one today. This one's the one that's all been stitched and then added beads into it as well. Really glorious, that one. And then you've also got that one there. I think this might be my favourite card on the shows today, you know. I absolutely love that. Thank you. Really, really simple, but really so effective. So that's from Jamie's collection. And then from the Sue collection, and this is what you'll receive. You've got the looped rectangles in here. But you've also got then as well your cut corner rectangles. The shadow box, which is that one there. Then you've also got the starbursts. And this one here is your holly swirls. You've also got the Christmas embellishments, and you've got the further Christmas embellishments, the slimline embellishments in there too, which is excellent. Right, Jamie, massive thank you. Pleasure as it always is, and hopefully we'll see you back here really soon. Thank you all very much. Thank you for all your lovely comments today as well, and thank you to all of you for making me start home. It's been a true pleasure.
It's a pleasure as it always is. Safe trip back, and we'll see you back here again soon. Don't go too far, because I will be back with Jan in just a couple of minutes' time. She's back. She's like a coil swing. She's actually just doing a pre-show yoga. I think that's the downward dog she's doing at the moment. Right, we'll see you back here in a couple of moments.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get social with us. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, on your TV or tablet, you can get so close to the action, it's like you're in the studio with us. You can ask questions about products or crafty techniques. Get hints and tips from our expert demonstrators. Plus, share pictures of your crafty makes with our amazing community. Crafters TV, getting you closer to the crafty action.
I have to tell you, every single person works tirelessly behind the scenes, and I can't just give a shout out to one person, because for me it has to be John, Tracy and Jake.
Going to give a shout out to our backstage hero, and I'm actually going to say heroes. It has got to be our product coordination team. It's got to be.
Because without those three people, when we're on air, we wouldn't be able to function like we do. They make sure we have everything we need, right from the samples to the product to having a drink of water throughout the show. They really look after us.
You see us day in, day out, 7 days a week, live on TV. We're crafting away. We're hopefully inspiring you. Every single card, Every single product, every single tool that we touch has come from product coordination. Those guys are the unsung hero. They're there making sure we have the products, we have the inks, we have the tools, we have everything that we need. We have the power to actually work our Gemini ranges. The smooth running of behind the scenes of Crafters TV is all down to our product coordination team.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. So, join our family of craft experts with live tutorials and demonstrations every day. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products here on Crafters TV. Get creative and craft along with our amazing deals. Your next craft project is only a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week or watch on catch up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook or our YouTube channel. You can chat to us, craft along and meet new friends in our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
You're all that time with each other! You're not through to boot camp. Get off!
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. So, stop what you're doing and enjoy the fun here on Crafters TV.
Oh, so lovely to have Jamie and Creative Expressions with us today. I'll be back again really soon. However, we're reunited for the final hour of the day. Myself and Jan. Jan, you've been having a right chuckle in there. I
Honestly, I was in there on my own. If anybody could see me, they must have wondered what was going off because I'd still got my earpiece in and I could hear them. And honestly, they are incorrigible. That's all I can say. All of them guilty as charged. Poor Jamie. Really, he's not going to want to come back.
Jamie, he loves it really. I know he does. Right, let's go back to the Hummingbird collection then, which is, I know we were sort of part way through a demo, weren't we?
Yes, I've not done any more to that. I'm just going to literally carry on where we left off.
Brilliant. So if you do want to go for this, you can. Really lovely collection on this. You're going to get the tropical tags. You will also get there the textured lace, which is your edgeable. This one here is your hovering hummingbird. That is your creator card die. In this collection, and then you've got the fragrant florals here. This one is your sentiments, which are your spread your wings, and you will also get as well the luxury linen cardstock, 24 sheets of that. The vellum is available that I know Jan has used. It is available individually. We have less of the vellum than we do with the collection. £39 or $47 if you want to get the main collection. There's less than 50 left of the vellum. I'll give you the details quickly for the vellum, which is the 8x8. Here it comes. What noise do hummingbirds make, I wonder? Do you think they sound anything like ducks?
Don't they hum?
What?
Is that why they're called hummingbirds?
Hummingbirds. Oh, they hum, yeah. 10.39 or 13.
There's a clue in the title.
Do they hum because it's
their wings flapping, isn't
or
it?
Or do they make a quack? Do they have like a quack or a? Is it more of a or a quack? I don't know. I've always wondered. Let me know in the comments. There's a duck in here somewhere, I thought earlier. Anyway, back to you, Jan.
Honestly. God, blimey, take a breath, Jan. Right, so before the break, if you have just joined us, I'm just going to recap what I'm using out of that collection. And one of them is that beautiful pack of vellum there. So we've got 6 different designs, 24 sheets in total, and it's 8x8 in size. So what I did was actually cut some down, and I've actually adhered it to some of that cardstock from the same collection. Just slightly textured cardstock. And on the heavily printed vellums, the little dotty tape pen works wonderfully. I've used that around the edge of my vellum and you can't see it. It does show through the more sort of single colour ones, and I tend to use sort of brads or, as I say, hide the tape under a focal point if I'm going to use that. For these that are patterned like this, particularly if you're putting them over a colour rather than the white, this works beautifully just to adhere them. So we started off with our Z-fold card. You can see there it gets the name came from the shape. And we've just stuck our mats and layers onto there to create that fold back. So then I took that beautiful textured lace edgeable, which looks like so, 6 inches in length, and it's got the cutting edge around that decorative side, but this side doesn't have a cutting edge, which means it stays in the cardstock. So we got this far, we cut it into the bottom of that piece of cardstock, and you've got that gorgeous design there. And then when I brought this one in that I'd done earlier, okay, and I've done it again, I've repeated it on that second part of the piece here that I'd got here. And then I've just added some scraps of the card that were left over and a little bit of the turquoise ink just to bring it all together. And then what we're going to do, we're going to use this to frame the top section of the card. I want this to come right across the top. So I've popped some tape on the back there, and I just want it on that first part, and this is going to stick to the part that opens here. And I'm just going to line it up completely level with the top of the card there. Make sure that's nice and straight. And then this one,
apparently, Jan, they do make a noise. They make little cheep, 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 chirpy noises.
Cheep, cheeps.
Little squeaky, chirpy noises.
Little squeaky noises. I can't say I've ever been that close to one to actually notice, to be honest.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
There's one in the cup. What, just sort of sitting lying around?
There was something humming out there earlier.
Let's not go there. And then what I'm going to do is just literally pop this one level with the corner underneath, honestly, like so. And that will now fold flat, but you've got the equivalent now of that double Z in there. So that's my actual card design. And then I took that beautiful tropical tags, and this is lovely. You've got 2 really nice sized tags in there. So you've got the outline one, you've got the one with the more straight sides. These are great if you want to add a tag to your project, make a tag as a gift tag, make a tag shaped card. So you can either just leave a little bit of this extended over the fold, or you can leave the top bit extended over the fold, and it will give you something. Let me just find the one that we had earlier. Where's it gone? Give you something along this lines where we've actually got the edge of it here still intact. So you can see that that's been made from that large tag there. Really, really pretty. So my plan was to actually use that and then realise it was too big for what I was doing. So what I have done, I love this sort of floral, this tropical floral in here. So I've cut some of these out with the dies, and you can see there we've got the leaf. I cut the big flower, no, I did the middle-sized flower, and some of the little ones as well here, just so that I've got some decoration. So I've got a few of those cut ready, just in offcuts of cards. So it's great for using up. I do tend to keep all my little scraps. It's like, how small is a piece before it becomes waste? They go in the scrap box, and they're great for this kind of thing. And then finally, I've took that Spread Your Wings sentiment set, some beautiful sentiments on there. But I've just kept it simple with birthday wishes just for you, and I've stamped that onto a piece of plain cardstock. We're going to use that as our sentiment. So that's all the components. All we need to do now is just pop that composition together. And I did plug the glue gun in. I don't know whether it's hot enough yet. We'll have a look. Yeah, we should be okay. So it just makes it a little bit quicker. So again, I'm just going to use some hot glue there to pop these in place. So I want a couple of the leaves to one side on the corner there.
Lillian's letting us know that squirrels make noises as well, apparently. Oh. Never heard a squirrel, she said. Never ever heard one before. I saw a squirrel up a tree angrily squawking at a big ginger cat the other day.
Oh, wow.
I've never heard a squirrel.
See, every day's a school day.
It is, isn't it?
So again, just going to pop these. I want a little sort of selection of them in that bottom corner. Okay. And then I'm going to take 1 or 2 of them up into the top corner here, just to echo. I think I've probably got a spare one. Like so. And we'll keep one of those for another project. Anything like this, if I've made too many, I've got an old, it's actually an old biscuit tin that I keep on my desk. So anything like this that I've made and not used just gets popped in there so that I can just delve in there if I need something quick. So that's to echo what we've got going on
I love
there.
it with the detailing along the top. I think it makes it look really different.
Yeah, quite often when we do these Z-folds, we tend to bring that piece down here, but I just thought with that sentiment on, with that die on there, it really lent itself to being that way along the top. So I'm just going to use some of the double-sided adhesive and pop my sentiment in that bottom corner there. And then final bit, I just wanted something else to fill this gap here. So this isn't actually part of the collection, but I know most of you have got butterflies in your collection. And what I've done is I've attached it to a piece, just a thin strip. It's the worst thing to show you on screen, isn't it? A thin strip of acetate. And what I want to do is actually attach this so that it looks as if it's suspended from here.
Really cool.
So I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of red line tape. It just needs a bit behind this solid part of the panel at the top. So I just need to pop a little piece, decide where this is going to go. So I want it to just come down into that gap there. So about there, I'm going to pop this on the top behind that section, remove the red liner off it, and then we can actually pop that behind here, stick it on a little bit higher up than that. Oh well, no, it's going there. It's stuck down. And then just trim off that spare acetate at the back there. And then when this is open, it's going to give us, in fact, ooh, is that overkill? Or shall we pop it down there near the sentiment? No, I don't think it needs
I think without, yeah.
Yeah. So when we open that up now, you've got that sort of illusion that the little butterfly is actually flying across in there.
Really
so
cute,
all
isn't
the
it?
rest of it, apart from the card base, which I've made out of our multi-purpose card, the rest of it is all from the components from that collection that we have left for the Hummingbird, apart from the little accessory there with the butterfly. But I thought this looked really nice as like a pelmet across the top of it, but you've still got that traditional shape that we're used to with the Z-fold. So just a different take on it.
Yeah, a net pelmet, we love it. It is really, really cool. Evelyn says, I get hummingbirds in my garden in the summer months.
Oh, lovely.
They should be heading south to Mexico soon for the winter. I think we should head south to Mexico for the winter.
That sounds like a plan, doesn't it? It really does.
Or where else could we head south to? I don't know. Caribbean for the winter, something like that. I think
Yeah,
I think, you know,
some of
that's
the
what
animals
nature
have got the
wanted
right
for us.
idea, haven't they? What with hibernating and going south and... Yeah.
I have a friend that spends our summers here in the UK and then goes back to Australia when it's our winter.
Yeah.
So it has Australian
Sounds like
summers.
a plan.
So their summer and our winter are opposites. So it's currently coming in towards summer for them now. So that'd be a great one. Never see a winter ever again, Jan. Can you imagine?
Sounds wonderful.
Would be delicious, wouldn't it? Let me take you back through exactly what you're getting then included in this particular collection just here. So you've got that one there, which is your tropical tags. You will also get your textured lace there. You've got that lovely big creator card, sort of square size, which we don't always tend to do, with the liftable element in there as well. Then you've got your fragrant florals. These are a brilliant set of stamps and dies. They're great for building up scenes on different projects. You've got your sentiments in there. And you've also got then as well your luxury cardstock, which is that one just there. A brilliant deal on this, saving you £31 or $38, so £39 or $47 today. And you can, of course, use your Club Inspire discount to take that price even lower as well, should you wish. We have a hero tool on every one of our beautiful beginnings. And this week's is this, the Die and Stamp Storage Power Pack Collection. You can't charge your phone with it, because that's what I thought when I saw it written down a bit earlier, Power Pack. But you can turbocharge your storage game. Okay. And what you're going to get in here, you're getting the box itself. Tough crowd tonight, Jan.
They are, aren't they?
Tough, very tough crowd. No, move on. Right, you're getting 15... Any sort of chatter about flatulence? Oh, it's the most funniest thing ever. Honestly, you work in a very, well-crafted joke. Nothing.
It just falls flat.
Just falls flat, it does it. You get 15 of the different pockets within there, which is brilliant. And these are great for storage stamps or dies. You could, of course, store storage, pop stamps and dies in their storage in here as well. You will also get some of the magnetic panels too, and these are brilliant because what these allowed you to do is pop your dies onto there and then store those in there too. It's a really great, robust little box that you've got there. Wonderful as well for storing finish makes in too, if you want to do that. $32.99 in the UK, $37.99 if you're in the US. That saves you 20%, which is excellent. Then we've also got the ribbon threading, which are these ones just here. You guys love these. I think as well, I was thinking this earlier, Jan, do you need to thread ribbon? I think you could just definitely use these as a bit of texture in the background to a project.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it is part of our creator card range. So that cut with just a sentiment on the front, maybe a little bow or a couple of gems. You know, your card's done. It doesn't have to be ribbon threaded at all.
No, I love that. Pretty Florals is the first one in there. You've also got Charming Lace, Baroque Swirls is that one, Bold Florals, Diagonal Lace, and Elaborate Lace too. So $38.97 or $44.85. It's a half price deal on these. They are available as 2 smaller individual collections, 2 3-piece collections. The value is far and away better in the larger collection there, which is on your screen. Lots of love coming in for that card from Jennifer, Mary Pat, Natty, Patricia as well. Mary also loved it too. Right then, Jan, let's head back to you. What would you like to show us next?
We're going to go with the diagonal lace this time. So again, slightly different way of doing it this time. We're going to stick with the panel. So they're all the same size. These all work out at 3 3/4 by 5 1/4 if you're using the outside cutting elements. So again, for the benefit of people that have just joined us, we've got our sort of frame element there, and then you've got the central part of the die, excuse me. Just checking everybody was still awake. And this one doesn't have a cutting edge around it. So if I wanted my piece of cardstock to remain this size, I could just cut this into the centre, and we've got that large border around the outside. But if we're going to cut it down, we're just going to pop that second one on and cut them together to create a topper, and that's what I want to do with it. So again, just positioning them so that you've got a little tiny gap. It is literally about 1 millimetre, but all the way around you should have a gap between that outside edge and the detailed die that goes in the centre, and then tape it down so that it's not going to move. But you can see all the way around here now we've actually got that space so that they're not overlapping. And then again, into your chosen machine. So I've still got my big Gemini out there, so we're going to put all the relative shims in, pop the top plate on and pass that through our Gemini, and that's going to cut out that detail. Now I've just chosen a grey pearlescent card for this. We're actually going to go sort of black, red and grey with the white card base, so quite striking with this one. But instead of using ribbon this time, I'm going to bring in some of my twine.
Oh, nice.
And it looks quite effective, you know. So again, just trying to show you different things. If you tuned in this morning, you can see that we actually use some paper to thread through the die. You know, it doesn't have to, we call them ribbon threading dies, but it doesn't have to be ribbon itself. Anything, you know, that's the right size will go through these dies. So again, I'm just going to take that tape away so that we can lose the outside frame.
Rhonda says, Joe, I think your jokes are falling flatulent.
Nice
Get
one.
it?
Boom,
Like that
boom.
one.
And then again,
No,
turn it
that
over.
tough crowd still, Rhonda. You didn't get a no.
And just lift that die cut away from the metalwork. And that way you have a lot more sort of control over that piece. So again, if I bring you this one in, you can see absolutely gorgeous. So
Really
again,
nice,
we've got
isn't
the
it?
option now to thread through these parts here. So you've got either side of the circle, you've got a little piece that you can thread across the diagonal here. And you've got 2 of those, so you could do 2 rows with it. And again, don't forget that there is inspiration on the sheet here. So the middle one goes through those 2 rows on the diagonal. Or you can actually follow the central line of the little gaps here, which is what I'm going to do with my twine. And you can just do 1 line through the centre of the diagonals. Alternatively, again, because we've got these sets of 4, you can do that crisscross effect here and get the little crosses in there. So that, again, they've given you 3 examples. Like I said, there may be others. So, you know, have a play around with them and see what you can come up with. And then this one also, although I didn't do anything with these this time, I just thought these are really nice pieces that you could perhaps use as borders on something.
They're like beads, aren't they?
Yeah, so you get a couple of full length ones come out of that design there. It reminded me of Rick-Rack braid, that one. And then Rick-Rack braid, you know, the sort of the jagged braid. And then again, with the smaller ones, because it's on a diagonal, they sort of go different lengths. But there's 4 pieces in there that you could use, you know, to create. You might want to cut it a second time in a different colour and paper piece these back in, one way of doing it. Or if you just lay it over another colour, you've got that colour shining through, which is what we're going to do with ours. So what I want to do then is actually take a length of my thread. And this one, we're going to follow that track. Let me pop it on here again so that you can see. We're going to follow this track through the centre here with the single holes. So again, this is really easy because it's a lot narrower than the actual hole itself. It's just going to go literally through, just from back to front, and then back up from underneath, back down from the top, back up again until you get to the end, and it's creating a different look to if you'd got the ribbon in there. So again, I've got one of these ready done. I just wanted to show you it's relatively quick. You can see now how we've got that sort of design coming along, and then again, just secure the ends of it either with a little bit of your glue pen, you can pop on the back there and actually secure that one. Or earlier I used a little bit of my double-sided tape and just secured the back of it. And then once you've got it secure, you can chop off any excess and bring it back to the size of your piece of cardstock there. So you can see that's the beginning of that design there. So when I bring in the one that I finished here, I've just added, you can see where we've got those lengths of the twine. And then I've just added some little black gems in the gaps here. So where there was a gap between the thread on each row, I've just added some in. Now I know there's one missing again, for the same reason as last time, we're going to pop a little embellishment in there. So what I want to do then, again, I've kept this one nice and simple. I've gone with
metallic threads, you know, gathered metallic threads, like a bunch of metallic threads.
Yeah, or I mean, as daft as it sounds, if you've got a thin metallic thread, like a stitching thread, you could plait it or something like that and then feed it through. Yeah. So again, lots of different twine would look great if you were doing a sort of a neutral coloured one, you know, just the brown twine, which I use quite a lot. So try it with different things as well as ribbons and see what kind of effect you get. So I've actually gone a little bit bigger this time. We've gone 7 by 5.5 with the card base, and this time I want it to be a 10th fold, so my fold is across the top here. Piece of red Centura pearl, just to start my mats and layers off, and then I've actually brought black with just a very fine silver border around it on this one. I just wanted to keep it nice and narrow just to back it, and that one's going to sit in between there. Now again, if you wanted to take the middle out of here and preserve your cardstock, you can. So again, I've got a little bit of foam tape just to lift this layer and actually bring it away from the card, but you could stick it flat. Again, there's no right or wrong with this. You know, I do like a little bit of dimension in the cards. It depends who I'm making for and where they're going. If I'm posting a card through the mail, I normally keep it reasonably flat. Whereas if I've got one that I can hand deliver, it gives you a chance to sort of do a little bit more sort of structure on it. So that one's just going to go in the centre there. And then we're going to stick this one in the middle there. Okay, so I've popped some tape around the edge ready. Just use the red line tape again to get it nice and it's really sticky, this stuff, so you get a really nice stick. And then I'm just going to pop a little dot of wet glue every so often through the middle there, just to help it catch in the centre as well. So again, just bringing that wet glue in, and just in some of the gaps here, I'm just going to pop a little bit of that so that I can get those pieces to stick down as well. So wherever you've got a gap, you can just pop a little bit in there. And then we're just going to pop this one. And again, I want the missing gem at the bottom there. And then that one's going to go in the middle, like so. Just give it all a good press down. Give it a second for that glue to grab.
An absolutely beautiful card. Mary Ryan says, every time I watch ribbon threading, I have that song from Schoolyard game in my head. Go in and out the window, go in and out the window. I don't know that one, do you?
No, I've not heard that one, no. And then again, I just had a look through my sort of embellishment box to see what I'd got, because I just felt as if it needed a... I mean, you might just want to pop a sentiment on there. So I've got an always and forever. That could be it. But I just got some little bits, and I found this one in my jar that I'd got with embellishments in. So this is actually cut out of foam. It's just red funky foam, and it's been cut with one of our dies. It was one of the demonstrations I've done for the Gemini to show what things it could cut, and I keep things forever and a day, much to my husband's disgust. So yeah, I thought, oh, that would look really nice, just in the gap there. So I'm going to bring the glue gun again, just because this is a different
Were you saying it
material.
in Yorkshire then?
Were I saying it in Yorkshire? It says you, or was it earlier? Sarah Brown.
Sarah Brown.
I heard you, I did. But that's what he calls me when I'm not here, you know, Jan Brown.
Jan Brown.
Yeah.
Jan Brown from Rotherham.
From Rotherham. He's obsessed with this, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then I want the tiniest little bit.
Many things I'm obsessed with, Jan. I don't know.
My shop, when I had my shop, was in Rotherham, and it did very well, I'll have you know. In another lifetime, when I was doing something completely different and ran a bridal shop.
A bridal shop?
I used to sell wedding dresses, yeah, in a former life.
Really?
That was before the teaching, yeah, a long time ago.
Before the teaching?
Before the teaching. Johnny's just saying what was the shop floor.
It
it's
called?
not there now. It was, do you know, it was running for a very, very long time. We sold it to one of our staff, and she did really well with it. It was called Bridal Affairs.
Right.
Which was my mum's choice of title. And the lady that bought it from us was one of our staff when Mum retired. And she was going right up until the pandemic, and I think that's killed it off, because she's not there anymore. And I think obviously the weddings suffered big time during the pandemic,
really did,
and I
didn't
just think it was not viable anymore. So yeah, it's a real shame, because it had been open, it had been running for what? We opened it in 1990. And we sold it in 2002. So we ran it for 12 years, up until what, 2019-ish, 2020 maybe. So yeah, it was running for a very, very long time.
Do bridal shops have that one dress out the back that they, you know, have had for a long time, and someone comes in and they go, try with that one. What? No, not that one. You mean the one that? No, I can't give her that. Yeah, go on, try that one. See what she says. Try that one. And she tries it on.
Depends what people were looking for. Do you know one of the nicest ones that I ever sold was a black wedding dress.
A black wedding dress?
Lady had got a gothic wedding, and we actually ordered in especially for her a black wedding dress, and it was stunning.
Wow.
Absolutely stunning wedding. So yeah, this would have been great for her, wouldn't it, with the black and red?
What was your wedding dress like, Jan?
My mum made mine. She
it?
was a seamstress in a former life. She got City and Guilds training, so she made all my wedding dress. And I said to her, the only thing I didn't want was lots of frills. And what did it have? It had from the waistline here what was known as a waterfall train, which was just one mass of frills. I'm sure she did it on purpose.
Aww.
But it was lovely, and I still have it.
Do you?
But I don't think I'd have a cat in hell's chance of fitting in it anymore. I was slightly less of me back then.
Right. That's true for all of us, Jan, isn't it?
So yes, I have got it back to
I'll see if I can squeeze into it.
Oh, aye. That would be a laugh, wouldn't it?
How long have you been married for?
Yeah,
Jan?
what was that name?
We could introduce Annette Pelmet to the to the viewers. What do you think?
Deary me, the mind boggles.
When did you get married, Johnny?
When did I get married? I got married in 1984.
Oh.
Yeah.
Johnny was born in 1984.
That makes me feel really old. Johnny's just saying he was born in 1984. Thanks for that, Johnny.
It was 2 years before I was born.
Cool. You're just making me feel old
10 years before Charlotte was born.
Stop it. Stop it, honestly.
Let me take you back through these amazing dies that you've got here, the ribbon threading dies. So you're going to receive the pretty florals, You are also going to get the charming
Babies.
lace, the Baroque swirls. You've also got the bold florals, the diagonal lace, and the elaborate lace. Jake was born in 1996. I've got T-shirts older than that, I reckon.
I'm glad you revised that. Pairs of, I wondered where you were going then.
Is what I was
oh, were
saying.
you?
Yeah, what did you think I was going to say?
There's no telling.
You thought I was going to say undercrackers
no
again,
telling.
didn't you? I love that term.
Oh,
Whose
my
undercrackers
days.
are those down there? This is what my mum used to say, obviously, when we were kids. I think we should just have a moment, don't you? I need a moment.
Yeah, we need a moment.
Let's just take a moment. Let's take a pause. I don't know what Grace is on about in the comments. She's off on a tangent. Let's have a quick pause and we'll be back with you on the other side of this.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
The one that was really funny, Ben. You didn't.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that? Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
I think I've always been a little bit crafty. I used to craft when I was very young, and I say craft, I used to take a needle and a cotton and sew all my own clothes, tie-dyeing and things like that. South Yorkshire's a gorgeous place. Barnsley in particular, I love. It gets a lot of flack, but it's a really beautiful, picturesque place to live, especially because there's lots of green places around there, lots of lovely parks and things like that, but it is a gorgeous place to live. So the people who inspire me, well, the people who inspire me most, especially into craft, was my Auntie Jean, who's no longer with us, but I give her always a big shout out because she absolutely introduced me properly into the passion of paper crafting. I followed Craig for a long time before he actually joined Crafters Companion, and I always loved his style. I used to follow his blogs, his, all these things that he used to do on Facebook and all the various companies that he used to work for, and then I absolutely felt honoured when he joined our team. You know what's lovely about having all this amazing team from Craig, Jan, Debbie, Michelle, Becky. Have I missed anyone? I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have, but it's lovely because they're like-minded people. We love and passionate about craft, especially Crafters Companion. So for me, having that lovely team is just phenomenal, and I wouldn't be without them literally every single day. I have a big love affair that has been going now for 40, let's get this right, 41 years with a certain group called Bucks Fizz, or as they're now known, The Fizz. When I got that phone call, well, firstly, I had the email saying, would I like to come and join? And I used to work in the Crafters Companion store as assistant manager there. But when I got that email, I thought at first, is this a joke? Because I had to check, was this a joke? But when I actually went for the interview and went through the process, when I got that phone call from Laura to tell me that they had wanted me on that TV team, that for me to date is the biggest, proudest moment I've ever had working for Crafters Companion in the 6 years that I've been here.
Ah, the lovely Debbie Robinson now. She's been a bit under the weather. She's feeling a lot better apparently, isn't she?
She's on the mend. Yes, she's on the way out, I think. Yeah, not on the way out.
Can someone send that to Debbie, please?
I meant on the way out of the bad bit.
She's on the way. She's not been too bad, unless she's been off for a little while. Is she right? Yeah, she's on the way out.
Yeah, no, on the way out of the bad bit, yeah, she's actually on the mend, I think, honestly.
Oh dear, Jan, that's a corker. I wonder if she's watching. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll get a WhatsApp from her in a second. Right, let's move on. This is really funny. Let's have a little look at the decoupage.
Stop it.
Let's have a look at the decoupage flowers. So we've got the delicate lily in here is your first one there. Then you've got the lovely lilac in here too, which is brilliant. This one here is your radiant rose. And that's great, of course, because you can do that into loads of different colours. You've broken Johnny. Johnny's definitely on his way out, judging by the sounds coming out of him this evening. Fabulous Fuchsia is this one just here as well. You've then got the Timeless Carnation. And, of course, the Fragrant Sweet Pea is that one there. £49 or $55 gets you all of them. They are all available individually, but you've got a really good saving look when you get them together. £40 or $46. There is a lot of laughter in the comments. Shall we get on with a demo and hope that saves us, Jan?
Yeah. So we're going to look at the Radiant Rose. So earlier in the show, we actually did the lily and we stamped onto some pattern paper from one of the paper pads. So just to say that you didn't have to colour in if you don't want to. What I'm going to do this time is I've actually done a piece of, this is just our multi-purpose card again, and I've actually used ink on this one. Now I didn't have the colours that I wanted in our ink range, so the other inks that I have at home are Distress Oxides, and I've just used those. I wanted that sort of apricot tone. I've just used a mixture of those, just like we use our watercolour inks for blending. I've got the 3 colours in there, and then I've splattered it with a little bit, I don't think you can pick that up there, little tiny bit of gold paint just splattered on it to make my background. And this is what we're actually going to stamp onto now to create the flower. So again, it's a quick way of applying colour to something that's a decent size, and you know, we're sort of wanting to get it done a bit quicker than, if you like colouring, perfect, but I want to actually bring, and I'm hoping I can fit 2 left. I want 2 layers of this, so I'm going to bring in the stamping platform. And bearing in mind, if you were watching earlier, I said that the dies actually cut inside the stamp, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm hoping that I can actually just probably fit, if I just overlap the edge a wee bit, because I know that it's going to cut inside there, I'm hoping I can fit 2 flowers. If not, we'll have to work with 1. So again, popped it on my stamping platform, and then I've just taken some. Again, because I'm going onto a dry medium, it doesn't really matter which ink we use, but I've just got the brown. Again, tones nicely with those colours that I chose for the flower. So just inking that up, we're going to pop that one at the bottom there, and then see whether we can get a second one out of the top section of that card. Bearing in mind, as I say, it's going to cut some of the outside edge away. So I'm just going to reposition that one now. Yeah, we should be okay with that, I think. As I say, I'm not too worried if some of it pops over the edge, because we're going to lose a little bit of it. Okay, so all I did was take a piece of cardstock, ink it up. It was twice the size of this. I've actually made one of the flowers already, which is why I've got such a little scrap left. Ink the second one up, and then we just need to pass these through our chosen machine and cut them out. So again, get that ink down. And you can see again, they're a good size, these, you know, they are really nice as a focal point. And that's exactly what we're going to do with them. So I'm just going to take the stamp away from there, pop that one back out of the way, and then the dies that come with it just fit inside here nicely. So again, I've got a little bit of tape left. Now, one of the petals, if you look at the design, they're all sort of like a normal edge, apart from this one that's got a little tiny V in it. And if you line that one up, if you find the V on the design there, it's really easy to line it up inside the shape. And the outside of that line art is just briefly showing over the edge of the die. So what I'm going to do is just bring my MIDI back in for this one, And there is just the one die, so I'll just need to pass them through, excuse me, one at a time.
Would you like a funny wedding story from Rhonda Crowley?
Go on.
She says, my first wedding was in 1975. I got divorced, and my second wedding was in 1996. Hilariously, my current hubby could have been my ring bearer in my first wedding. Lol, he would have been 6 years old. Love that. You're only as old as the man you're feeling, Rhonda. That's what they say, isn't it?
So right, let's pop that one through there. And you see what I mean now about it taking that external cutting edge. When we have a look at that one now, it's taken the line art away from the edge, which makes the flower look more realistic, I think, because nature, you know, flowers in nature wouldn't have that solid line around the edge of them, and I love the way that that's been done. So again, I'm just going to do the same again. I'm going to find out which one had got the little V in, which is there. That one, no. Let's have a look. No, that one. There we go. Line it up. Just make sure we've got the die in place. Stick it down. And then we'll cut that second one out as well. And then what I've done is I actually did the leaf, beautiful rose leaf, and I coloured that in with one of my alcohol markers. Just wanted that greenery to go with the flower display. So I'll bring those in. We've got our extra flower there. Take that one off the cardstock. And again, I often use the bits that are left here to just punch, again, little flowers. And you heard me say I'd got that box on my desk that is just there in case I need a little bit of something. So if you've gone to the trouble of doing a nice ink background and you're happy with it, use the rest of it to punch shapes out of before you dispose of it, and you've got all the extra pieces there. So that one can go back on there for a minute, and then you've got the lovely sort of rose leaf there as well. Pop that on the back of there for you. Yep, and I've just done that one. As I say, I've cut it out with the die, and I've just done that one with the green, one of the greens in the alcohol markers. And then what I've done is I scored a line. You can just see on the back there.
Is that just one colour? Is there any shading in that?
There is a little bit of shading, yeah. I use my tri-blend, so there's the 3 different layers in it. But again, you know, if you want to just keep it one tone, absolutely fine. And then I've just turned it and scored it on the back so that there was a score line, and then just given it a little tiny bit of shape over that score line, so that again you've got something that looks a bit more realistic. If we actually look at that, you can see how it's sort of shaped and curled up a little bit rather than just being flat. And then for the flowers, I'm actually going to bring back in, let me just pop that one back on there for a second, bring back in that foam again like we did if you were watching earlier, and I want to give these a little bit of shape as well. So just before I do that, I'm just going to go round the edge of those extra petals again, just with that darker colour. Now you can do this, I've just gone direct from my ink pad here. If you've got an applicator tool or a finger dauber, you can do it with that. But I've just literally gone straight to the cardstock. And all that does is just define that outside edge a little bit. So just on the edge of the petals, I'm not even going to try and get on the bit in between, because that's going to be covered when we layer them up. Okay. And then turn them over again. And I'm going to bring that shaping tool in again. And again, all I'm doing with the larger part of it is just going round the edge of the petals there on each one. So a little bit of pressure, and it sort of, the mat absorbs that pressure, but it just gives them that lovely shaping. And as I say, it sort of wrinkles them round the edge of the petals, which makes them look really realistic. And then press the centre down. And again, you've got that flat one versus that lovely
really
sort
makes
of
a huge difference, doesn't it?
shape. Yeah, I think it does. I think it's worth just spending that. You know, if you're going to the trouble of actually making something, you know, where this is going to be your focal point on your project, I think it's worth just taking those extra few seconds. And if you don't have one of the mats, the foam mats, you can use like a pile of magazines or newspapers, anything that's just got a bit of give in it, a couple of mouse mats, something like that, would do the same trick. So again, just in the middle, and then we're going to stick these together again with a little bit of that wet glue. So I'm going to pop that one on the bottom, pop the glue in the centre there, and then again, just offset it so that you've got those extra petals landing between the gaps in the first one. Press it down. And then again, I'm just going to pop a nice pearl in the centre there. A nice big chunky one to go in there because it's a decent sized flower. And then I've got the one, it's got a little bit squished in transit there, but you can just see, again, you know, when you look at the dimension on them, there's really something to work with. So what we're going to do with those then, I've made a gift box this time. We're going to use these as the decoration on top of the gift box. So all I've done is just a little 6x6 gift box, ready to pop in whatever gift you fancy. I've just decorated it with some fairly neutral papers because I wanted those flowers to be, again, the star of the show there. So just before I adhere those, I've got a wee bit of, this is just cheesecloth again that I've got in my stash. It's you can buy it online, and it just adds a little bit of texture behind what's going on. So I'm going to bring that glue gun in again, and I'm just going to pop a couple of little bits just to anchor that down because the flowers will actually keep it in place as well. I think we're going to need another glue stick as well. Let me just grab one of those. So again,
that's not your old rag that you've bleached, is it? No. I wonder about, because you say you've retired the old rag. I just never didn't see retirement in its future, Jan.
Oh yeah, it was getting a little bit too dirty. The one, if you saw the one I'm using at home, my goodness, that's just the same. So again, we're just going to place these now with some glue. And I tend to use the hot glue for things like this because you get a nice sort of instant finish with the hot glue there. It dries fairly quickly and you've not got to worry about things sliding out of place then. That was a very strange noise, wasn't it?
It was. I think that might have been Johnny.
And then we're going to pop the leaf. I just want a little bit of glue on the stem there, and that one's just going to tuck in underneath.
Beautiful, loads of love coming in for this. Mary says the flowers are absolutely beautiful. The colours have a tropical feel, and Joy says this looks beautiful, Jan.
And then again, we were talking about the twine earlier, little bit of natural twine, and I'm just going to pop some glue on the edge of there. Come on, you can do it. There we go. And then that one's just going to tuck inside as well so that it pops out from underneath the flower there. So again, you know, nice and simple. Let those do the talking. Let those be the centre, you know, the focal point. And then again, I just went through the stash, had a look at what I got in the stash, and the Live Life in Full Bloom just said perfect for that. And then you can pop in there anything that you fancy, whether it be something edible, whether it be a piece of jewellery, a nice scarf, pair of gloves, anything like that. Nice little sort of pizza box style for you to gift.
Absolutely glorious.
Beautiful.
It really, really is. Did you want to get ready for card on the show, Jan? I don't think Jamie's left his card, so...
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean...
I didn't mean that.
Really. That didn't sound very sincere, Jan.
Didn't it?
Oh, no.
That's a shame. It
What a
was, because
shame.
I'm not... yeah, go on then.
So, yeah, Jan is going to be card of this show.
It is, isn't it? Right, so going right back to the beginning then, it's been a busy
well,
one.
Jan.
So we started off with the ribbon threading, and we did that vertical threading with the turquoise ribbon there. That was number one, just for you. Then we went on to the lilies, so those beautiful decoupage flowers there, and we did the lilies on the embossed background there. That was number two. Number three was the hummingbird with that lovely draped sort of pelmet on our Z fold card there, and the little floating butterfly. So that's number three. Number four, we went back to those ribbon threading dies, but we used the twine this time. Quite a dramatic one with the red and the black there. So that's number four. And then number five, we've just used those beautiful floral dies again, those decoupage flowers, and we made our little gift box
lovely.
with the radiant rose there. Number five.
Really, really
so yes,
lovely.
1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Get your votes in right now. Let me just recap them for you. Those Decoupage Flower Stamp and Dies collection, which is this one here. So you've got the delicate lily there. You've also got the lovely lilac. That one there is your radiant rose. We've then got fabulous fuchsia. That one is the timeless carnation. And we've also got the fragrant sweet pea as well. £49 or $55 gets you those. You've got a really good saving on that. £40 or $46 off on that particular one. Under £39, $44 flat if you are a platinum member too, which is absolutely excellent. We're going to whiz through everything that is on the show for you. So starting off with the Creator Card Starter Collection with pokey tools, tape pen, card and much more. You can see all the items there on your screen. £25 or $32 saves you almost £12 or $16, which is awesome. We've also got those ribbon threading dies that we have seen a couple of demonstrations from in this show. Busy here still. Now these are available as 2 individual 3-piece collections on the website. However, the value is much better. It's actually not that much more to get all 6 of them. £27 for the 3 or $38.97 to get all 6. So definitely get them in this configuration. $44.85 if you are in the US. That is a half price deal, remember. We also have a stamp and die tool starter collection with Inkpad Poké Tools stamping platform and more. Not much more this time, just more. £20 or $31 is your price there on that. If you want to get that one, £16 or $24.80 as a platinum member, that particular one. So we've also got the Hummingbird collection as well, which is this one here. And in there, you're going to be able to get the luxury linen cardstock, which is great. The tags, which are really, really cool. And a really lovely selection. If £39 or $47, if you did want to go for the vellum on its own is available individually. Next slide, please. Thank you. Decoupage flower stamp and dies is what you are looking at here. These are absolutely glorious. Really, really cool. You're going to have so much fun creating with those. We also have the die and stamp storage power pack collection, which is your hero tool, of course, to make sure you snap that up. It's a really, really great idea if you want to get organised with your dies and stamps. We also have some tri-blends available on the show for you too in the 6-packs. You've got the floral blends, portrait blends and exotic blends at $17.99 or $26.95 if you want to get a hold of those. Right, demo of the show, number 5, which is this one just here. So we now need to do demo of the day. So you can go for number 1, Jan's from Wake Up Call. Number 2, Leanne's Craft Along. Or number 3, Jan's Box. You decide, 1, 2 or 3. I wouldn't like to call it today. I think it's going to be very, very difficult. Right, we're going to go over to Jan. Jan is going to inspire us as to some of the things we've seen. I can't get my words out, Jan. I don't know what's going on.
I know.
It's a good job on going home in 10 minutes, isn't it?
So just to come back to those collections that we've showcased you tonight then. So those gorgeous ribbon threading dies being the focal point. I think that is really, really pretty. So Hello Baby. Just using that, it's a reverse, what we call a reverse easel card. Little stopper there, but using the panel as that upright piece on the easel. So that's that one. And then we've got back to those lovely crosses in there again, that way. So I love that sentiment, too glam to give a damn. And this one's a twisted.
That's me, Jan.
There we go, look at that with the feathers and everything. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's one of the ribbon threaders. And then again, just going sort of horizontal. You can see there, no vertical, I've turned it round. Again, on that easel sign. So again, we've got the ribbons and then the narrow ribbon in the edges there. Really, really pretty and a nice, easy way to make a sort of really special card. And then the Hummingbird collection, that was that same border that we used on ours there, just down the edge of a card. So again, it could be this edge, you could put it along the top, you could have the thing at the top with a piece here. Lots of different ways to use them. And then that lovely flower from the tag kit. We've got the Hummingbird itself there on that little easel with some of those extra embellishments there. Really pretty. The tag card, which I just fetched out very briefly earlier, but this one's been done. I love how this has been done with the tag left in shape to make it the card blank, and then details from that kit. And then again, using that edgeable there, very cleverly done 2 ways with the ribbon down the centre there. Really, really pretty. So that was the Hummingbird collection.
Beautiful.
And then we had those gorgeous flowers, which I love playing with these, I must admit. So again, we've got that radiant rose there in the sort of dome shape. So these would be lovely to do as, you know, the big frames, either making your own frames or like the one that I brought to the craft along with the dancing dragonflies. These would look gorgeous done as an arrangement, maybe mixing 2 or 3 of the different styles of flowers to give that home decor look would be really nice. They're big enough to sort of carry that. Then we've got the little fuchsias there. Again, really realistic looking, I think, when you look at the dimension on them. Little gift tag there. You know, that's much, much nicer
Really
than
lovely,
anything
isn't it?
you'd buy in the shops. And then we've got that lovely little sweet pea, again, mixing and matching with your nesting dies there, just to give a backdrop to it, just on that lovely open card there. Really, really pretty. So again, you know, sort of, this is probably the smallest one out of that set, but very delicate, really pretty. And again, be lovely for, you know, a birthday and anniversary, Mother's Day, anything like that coming up next year would be gorgeous. So yeah, fabulous.
Really, really lovely. Card of the day is number 2.
Aha!
Leanne's Craft Lawn.
That doesn't surprise me.
Of the day. Jan, it's been a pleasure to work with you again. We are back together, aren't we? We worked it out.
I am back on the 16th, which I think is a Sunday, if I remember rightly.
I'm not here that day.
And I think that's my last one before baby's due on the 21st.
So I think our next...
But then I'm back in November.
The 9th of November will be
And I should be back with you, Joe.
Our next day together.
Yes, it will be.
Brilliant.
Beginning of next month.
Massive thanks to Jan. Big thanks to the team backstage, the team in the gallery as well. Ben will be back with you for Wake Up Call tomorrow, I believe. And Ben Craig and also the guys from Wilso will be here all day tomorrow with their plantable books. And there's is it a Sarah Cartlow tomorrow night as well, so make sure you join the team for that. And there's free gifts available too. I am done now for the week. I will see you back here on Monday. So have a brilliant weekend. Make sure you come and join Ben tomorrow. Take care.